What's up, my good people of the internet? Happy to be here with you. Dan Tortora here on Wake Up Call every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We appreciate your patience this morning as we got set and ready for the show. Lily's here in studio today having herself a good time. So I hope you're having yourselves a fantastic morning this morning. We have a great show set up for you, and as we typically do, under promise, over deliver, as our broadcast will be going well past 11 a.m. this morning, because I wanted to make sure we got everything we possibly could get in here to celebrate with you many awesome things that are happening in our community of Central and Upstate New York. So with that being said, however you're tuning into the show, we appreciate you being with us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So however you're connected with the show, thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. Today's show, as I said, jam-packed. We're going to go well past 11 o'clock, so make sure that you are with us here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as we have a lot of great things coming up. We're going to start things off inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' with the annoying moment of the week. As we always do every Friday, we have our signature trio of segments that we bring to you every Friday. First off, with the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. Then we'll jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is what the acronym stands for. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And today's topic will be listening to yourself. And there's a lot of meanings to what that is, listening to yourself. So we'll discuss that for sure. And then we'll get into the top dog of the week, honoring someone here in our community. Top dog of the week, proudly presented by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. And that'll be around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And then a few minutes after that, right around 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, I will be featuring a bonus Dolphin Dive, under promise, over deliver, as I talked about before. You know the Dolphins are with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for Dolphin Time. And this Dolphin Dive, obviously coming outside of Wednesday, as we continue to bring you more and more content from the Dolphins all throughout the year, as we get set for jumping into year 3 of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Moyne College Dolphins, as they jump into Division I play. So a lot of great stuff coming up, including today around 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, as I will be joined by Nate Champion on the heels of fantastic news that the Moyne Dolphins will play their first ever Division I men's basketball game in the history of the college by going on the road on Election Day to Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, to face off against the Georgetown Hoyas, a fellow Jesuit institution, and that'll be happening on Tuesday, November 7th of this year. So very excited for that. So Nate will be joining me on the heels of that news to talk about the opportunity to play Georgetown, to speak on Ed Cooley, who is the new head coach there after spending many years at Providence. And we'll also get into the team and just give you some background, a little behind-the-curtain look at the Moyne College men's basketball team. So very excited about doing that with Nate Champion. And we'll round out the show around 10:35 a.m. Eastern Time, as I will have the blessing, honor, and privilege of welcoming for the first time ever Ryan Birchard to the broadcast. Ryan Birchard, a right-handed pitcher from the Auburn Maroons, who went on to play at Niagara County Community College, which is ironic because a week ago, sitting right next to me here in the studio, I had Bryce Cicero, who's coming from CNS, who is going on to play at Niagara County Community College because he believes that by going to that school, that junior college, he could have an opportunity of being drafted. And obviously that's true because look at Ryan Birchard. So there is definitely a bridge between Niagara County Community College and Major League Baseball. Ryan joins me to speak on Auburn as well as Niagara County Community College, making it to the World Series in both of his seasons at Niagara CCC for the Thunder Wolves, as well as playing in the MLB Draft League when he had the opportunity to compete on the squad Trenton Thunder. So we'll talk about the Trenton Thunder, and of course being drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers, number 155 overall, a 5th-round pick in the 2023 Major League Baseball draft. So plenty of story coming up, plenty of great things coming up, including his brother Owen, who was off camera, and we have an opportunity to speak about Owen and Owen's future as a 2024 prospect for baseball. So a lot of great stuff here on the broadcast, here from our trio of signature segments every single Friday, to a bonus Dolphin Dive on the heels of the Lemoyne Georgetown News, to a Central and Upstate New York Spotlight on Ryan Birchard as he gets set this weekend to fly out and start getting prepared for his time with the Milwaukee Brewers just a couple days from now. So a lot of great stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call. Let's jump into the annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment of the week for this week. You know, folks, I've talked about driving plenty of times here on Wake Up Call, and, you know, it continues to just not be great. So I have to keep mentioning certain things. One of the things that, I can't now, there's so many things to distract us, right? And I'm not without sin, right? There's times where I've had my phone in my car and I'm looking at something and this and that, and I know how wrong that is. And I think, you know, not only do I not ever want to do it again because I know how wrong it is, I feel like people were already not maybe always the best drivers, but now when you can stare at your phone and you could do this, that, and the third, I feel like we're in a place right now where it's a really dangerous road, literally and figuratively, because people are concentrating on everything but the road itself. So I need people to be focused on the road, me included, right? We have a lot of things to take us away from stuff, right? It used to be like trying to set the radio dial and then people saying pay attention to the road. Now we're trying to set the radio dial, we're seeing who texted us, we're trying to figure things out, we're sending a work email, and you can't do that stuff. I mean, you just can't. And to me, I think it's incredibly important to understand that and to know that. We can't be doing that stuff while we're driving. It's not safe, it's not healthy, it's not good, and it's not going to get you anywhere fast. So, and we need to start caring about people on the road. You know, we need to start caring about other people on the road, because that's something that we're not seeing always happen, right? And it's almost on a daily thing. I mean, I remember I used to go, you know, you go out driving and you'd be like, oh, okay, you know, that person didn't really drive that great. I wish they would think about the fact that there's other people on the road. Now I feel like I'm saying that all the time. I'm like, wow, nobody drives that good. So, you know, I shouldn't say nobody drives that good. That's obviously not true. But that a lot of people don't drive well anymore. There's just this consistent ridiculousness of driving out there, and I think, you know, we need to talk about it. We need to kind of have it out and have a conversation, because people are progressively just not caring about other people in our society, and that needs to stop. We need to make it a point to care about other people and to do things with other people in mind. I'm not saying to live your life for other people. I'm not saying to stop your life for other people. I'm saying to just recognize when you're on the road or you're in the store, just be cognizant of the fact that there's other people in this world that have things going on. You're not the only person in the store. And you want to get through everything, so do they. You know, I think as a society, you know, the selfishness for us needs to stop. We need to really get to a point where we're not selfish anymore. And I know that to some people, I'm asking a ton, right, to not be selfish. But we have to really be focused on the fact that society moves forward a lot faster and a lot more efficiently and a lot better when we work together. And I think we need that now more than ever. I know we need that now more than ever. So I would love it if we could just take some time to be courteous to people that are on the road, to be courteous to people that are in the store, to be courteous to the people that are working your flight, right? Or that are, helping your, grooming your dog or whatever it may be. We should just start to be more cognizant of how we talk to people and how we act and what we do, because you don't know what somebody's going through. And I feel like we don't think about that. You don't know what somebody else is going through. And I mean, I'll talk about things on the show and I'll be serious about stuff and I'll joke about stuff. But the reality of it all is I've been treated poorly. I'm sure you have too. Why do we bully at work? Why do we bully at school? Why do we bully on social media? There's no reason to bully. And by the way, bullies don't like getting bullied. That's the one thing I know about bullying. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it being done to them. So why do it to somebody else? Why bother somebody else? Why bring your whatever's going on inside of you to somebody else? Because I will tell you this with pretty much, I know nothing in this life is completely 100%, right? But as 100% as we can be, people that make fun of other people that bully other people, those people are not happy. They're not happy. And that's reality. Okay? It's like an admission of having a broken heart. It's like an admission of having pain. That's the reality. And I think that we need to really focus on the fact that we spend so much time worrying about what other people think of us and what other people are saying about us and, what did they do and there's shows that are literally made for television that are for just people talking about people and people being uncomfortable because somebody doesn't like them. We're taught in society that everybody needs to like us, and that's just not going to happen. Because some people don't like you because they don't like your face. Some people don't like you because they're racist. Well, let's be honest. Some people don't like you because they're prejudiced. Some people don't like you because you don't have the same religion as them. Some people don't like you because you don't have as much money as they have. Some people don't like you without even knowing you. Most of the people that hate you or talk badly upon you, a lot of those people don't even know what they're talking about. A lot of people speak a lot of ignorance into the world and a lot of naivety and so on and so forth. Hate is taught and love is taught. When you're around kids, and I had an opportunity yesterday to be around West Tennessee Pop Warner for football and cheer at the Wildcat, and it was awesome. And I'm talking to these kids that are like 11 years old, and I'm looking at them saying, like, how are you like this comfortable, this comfortable talking, or, you get your ideas out so well. Better than some adults that I've seen. And you see these kids, and they're just running around. They're running around. They're playing outside. Like, they came and did the show with me, and then they go out. Then they go outside and they play around with their friends. And they run around. And it reminded me that hate is taught and love is taught. Because when we're little kids, we just want to giggle and laugh and just run around and chase our friends and kick the ball around. Our life is very simple. And I think that adults, it's kind of like remember Peter Pan. And I feel like that's what we need to do is we need to remember Peter Pan and go back to that movie where Robin Williams forgot he was Peter Pan and then he remembers he's Peter Pan. Because I think life would be so much different if adults were more simple. And I'm not saying stupid, I'm saying simple. Because kids aren't stupid, they're just simple. We enjoy, when I was a little kid and I got birthday gifts, I played with the balloons and the boxes that my gifts came in. My parents could have saved a ton of money if they just wrapped boxes and handed me balloons. And to this day, I love balloons. I always have. And so, I know that adults have gotten lost gotten lost in, I got to make money. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to please my boss. I got to please my girlfriend. I got to please it. And it's like you forgot to just have that kid spirit. Why do you think I go to the movies? To fan the flame of that kid spirit. Why do you think I go to Disney? To fan, and granted, Disney is all over the place right now, but why I go to Disney my whole life, to fan the flames of my spirit, my little kid spirit, you know? To just marvel at the fact that somebody created this castle that looks beautiful, that these fireworks are amazing, you know, that this giant golf ball, right, the Epcot ball, that it's just, I mean, every time I leave now, I've seen it a billion times. Every time I leave, I turn and I stare at it now. I mean, I worked there, and every time I leave now, I turn around and I just stare at it, and people behind me are probably like, what is this guy doing? But I'm like turning and just looking at the Epcot ball because I'm just taken by it, right? It's so cool. It's so different. There's nothing like it in the world that I've ever seen. So, you know, my annoying moment of the week is I think adults have gotten too adult. You know, I'm not saying act like a child, right? I'm not saying, you know, you're 27 years old and you're having a discussion with your girlfriend and you're la la la. Don't do that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know, I feel like we've forgotten to be kids, right? We've forgotten to be kids. We've forgotten to just play and laugh and do simple things that mean a lot to us. Because in heaven, you can't take your couch. You can't take your car. You can't take your motorcycle. You can't take your collections and the hobbies that you spend so much money on. You can't take your pop figures. You can't take your money. You can't take your house. You could take your memories. You could take the relationships you built and how you affected people. You could take your soul. That's all you can take with you to heaven is your soul. That's it. It's something that you can't see and you can't buy. And its value is beyond money or any number you could put on it. You know, so I think my annoying moment of the week is, I think as people, we've kind of forgotten how to just have fun and relax. I mean, people go to comedy shows now and they're offended. People are okay, here's an annoying moment of the week. People are going to concerts and throwing things. Number one, how do you get people throwing their cell phone? You know, people throw, what did somebody throw, underwear or something? I don't even know. A bra or something. But it's like people are throwing things during a show. And again, I go back to Will Smith. I'm not blaming Will for everything that happened, but I'm saying, I'm using Will as an example here, because I would say it about anybody. I would say it about anyone that would have done this, which I would never think anybody would have done this. But when Will Smith got up on stage and he slapped Chris Rock, when he started yelling, when he became arguably the worst heckler that many people have ever seen, when he's sitting there on international television on a live broadcast dropping an F-bomb, which by the way is a fine, multiple F-bombs, and I hope he paid those fines, because shame on CBS if they picked up the tab. So he's yelling, he's swearing, he's heckling, right? Which is already a bad thing about doing a live show. And then it's one of the negatives that comes with it. And then he gets up and he gets on stage and he attacks Chris Rock. And after he did that, Dave Chappelle, somebody tried to attack him. And then after that, people are throwing things on stage to try and hit people that are doing their concerts. So, you know, I said there was a slippery slope to what Will Smith did. There's a slippery, and it could have, and again, I'm not attacking Will Smith. It could have been anybody, but somebody that would do that. I'm using him as an example. Why would he do that? Why? Okay? You should never have to think about that. When you are a performer, you should be thinking, did I rest my voice? Did I drink enough water? Did I practice these songs? Do I remember the words? Do I know the keys? Why are my hands shaking? I'm going to be okay. I'm a little bit jet lagged. I just broke up with my girlfriend and my boyfriend, and I got to do this show in front of 70,000 people tonight in Philadelphia. There's all these things on their mind. They don't need to have on their mind, am I going to get hit in the head with some random device in the middle of my show? Okay? But these are the idiots but this is the society we've created in America. Nobody thinks they're wrong about doing anything. Nobody thinks they're wrong. They don't feel bad. Just let me be me. Let me be me. Okay, well, you being you, if you're throwing something on stage, is you getting arrested. You going to jail. Okay? That's you can't just let me be me. Don't use that as a crutch and as an excuse. Let me be me. Let me do me. I'm just doing me. You know what? I'm just standing up for something. You're not standing up for anything. You're not standing up for anything by throwing something at a performer during a show. Hurling something at an innocent bystander, essentially, an innocent bystander. I mean, they don't know. If I'm up there singing with my eyes closed and I'm giving it all I got, I'm not ready for the phone that's being hurled toward my head. You know, we're talking about stuff. Adele's talking about it. Drake. You know, I mean, this has gone way too far. It should have never gone anywhere, and it needs to stop. Okay? Because you're talking to someone who does live broadcasts on site, right? And again, this is what I said about what Will Smith had done. What he did was he took the invisible barrier between nut job and performer, and he got rid of it. It's like when the invisible fence that you get for your dog breaks down, right? He got rid of the invisible fence between nut job and performer. And it needs to come back. And he needs to go out and speak about it. He needs to do it. Because he's the one that did it. He needs to talk about it. I do believe that. And I've liked Will Smith pretty much all my life. Okay? Loved Fresh Prince, loved his music, loved his movies. Went to see stuff. If Will Smith was involved, I was watching it. Now, I don't watch any of his stuff. Because I have no respect for what he did. And it's wrong. And correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't seen him apologize publicly or speak and tell people that there is a barrier, that he broke that barrier and that barrier needs to be restored. I haven't heard that. But who is going to a concert? Number one, how are you getting some of the stuff in that they're throwing? But who is going to a concert to throw things at people? What type of society did we become? And by the way, the people that bully, that throw stuff, that say horrible, hateful speech, none of these people want it done to them. So what in your brain tells you that I can do whatever I want, but nobody can do it to me? Because this is where we've gone wrong in society. Our leaders of the free world, people with voices that carry and can be heard, what are you all saying? In and out of politics. I'm talking about sports, entertainment, whatever. Who is going out there? I'm happy Adele said something, but who is going out there to speak on this? Because it needs to be spoken about. You know? Like I'm saying, we as adults have forgotten how to be kids in the sense of being carefree and running around and having fun. And then there are some adults that act like just total idiots. Total idiot. And it baffles me every day that, did you hear this happen? Did you hear that happen? I mean, I remember my dad and I were on the highway. We were on 81, and there were kids that were hiding right by where Binghamton splits to DeWitt, like Binghamton and DeWitt split 81. We're on 81, had just passed the Dome, and we're going toward Binghamton, and there were kids hiding on the highway, throwing apples at cars. And when it hits, you don't know if it's a rock, you don't know if it's a gunshot, you don't know if it's you don't know what just hit your car, right? Could be a bird, you don't know. By the way, it could scare the heck out of somebody who could swerve, who could push into another car, who could go into the guardrail, and then people die because you wanted to hee giggle about throwing apples on the highway. Like, I don't know what goes through a person's brain, and I don't know what's happening to America, that people do dumb stuff and they don't even feel bad about it. They just do it. And then they do it again. And then when somebody does it, they go, oh, well, that person did it, so now I can do it. Or they threw something at a concert in Kansas. Well, I'm in California, I'll throw something. And then somebody in New York, and then somebody in Florida, and then somebody in North Dakota, and then somebody in Kansas, and then somebody in Idaho goes, hey, cool, this is awesome. And then it becomes an epidemic of idiots. Who is teaching? What are parents doing today besides telling their children they can dress up like animals and go to class? Which is idiotic and insane. And you used to go to see somebody called a doctor when that stuff happened. Like, what are we doing? How can a teacher teach? How can a police officer do their job? How can a singer sing at a concert? There's so many confusing things in society right now. And it's like, well, what do we call people? I mean, it's just insane. There's things that you should never had to have thought about. We want to know why there's mental health issues and anxiety because people can't remember all the different names and all the different terminology and all. Like if you're a teacher in class and you say good morning, ladies and gentlemen, you can get in trouble because ladies and gentlemen is too vague. It's only too. I mean, that's something that I talk about on the show all the time. Ladies, gentlemen, kids, and I mean, what else is there to say? I'm saying hello to everyone in the world. Hello, ladies. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, children. Have a great day. Hope you're doing well. Like, how can we be picking apart? We're picking apart the things that there's nothing wrong saying. And then we're throwing things at entertainers during a live show. So we're telling people you can't say, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. But it's okay to throw things at people because... Are these people getting arrested? Are these people being brought to justice? What's happening? Like, are we getting somewhere in society that's productive? I am not going to... Like, I know being racist is wrong. Being prejudiced is wrong. Being sexist is wrong, right? Being hateful in general is wrong. But I don't have the time to learn about the million different, when a kid wants to come to school and be a turtle. I don't have time to learn that. I'm going to call the kid by their name and that's it. And if they think they're a turtle, with all due respect, they can't be on my show. You want to know why? Because turtles don't speak English. I mean, last time I checked, they don't speak. So how am I supposed to interview a turtle? I mean, I don't get it. In this cancel culture, we're going to cancel anybody if anybody thinks anything different than... But they thought something different last week. Cancel culture changes their mind every 5 minutes. 2 years ago, the stuff they cared about is not what they care about right now. And if cancel culture succeeds, there will be no culture to cancel because everything will be canceled. It doesn't make any sense. It's anarchy. Okay? Whatever happened to you're different than me? Teach me about you and I'll teach you about me and let's love each other. Stop talking about this movement in America is for everybody to love everybody and it's for everybody to be open and it's for everybody to care about each other. No, it's not. It's for hate to be spread like wildfire. The only wildfires that were worse than Canada is cancel culture. How dare somebody try and take someone else's good life away from them? I have never in my entire life wanted to see somebody fail. I have never in my entire life wanted to cancel someone, delete someone, destroy someone. Because that comes from hate in your heart. Stop saying it comes from a place of love. It doesn't come from a place of love. It doesn't come from a place of understanding. It doesn't come from a place of concern and care for other people. If you're trying to destroy somebody's life, you have hate in your heart. Let's call it what it is. I'm sick of being quiet about it. Let's call it what it is. It's hate. The only thing we're seeing in America right now when it comes to canceling people and destroying stuff is hate. It's just hate. I mean, for goodness sakes, Johnny Depp for being a man, most people were watching that trial going, well, he's a man, she's a woman, he's guilty. Obviously, he hit her because he's a guy. There were people watching that saying that, not even knowing anything about Johnny Depp. Besides, I saw him in Pirates of the Caribbean one time. How dare us try to judge and maim and destroy and alter and rip apart somebody else's life? That is a fast ticket to hell. And for those of you that don't believe in it, it's real. So, I mean, I'm just floored by how adults are teaching their kids, because kids don't know any better. And if you teach them hate, that's what they're going to go spread. I mean, those of us that don't hate and don't cancel and don't want to see somebody. Do I know people that treat people like garbage? Yeah, I do. Do I know people that lie and cheat and steal and disrespect? Yeah. But do I make it my life's choice to spend every day trying to get them canceled and destroyed and watch their life falter and their money go away? No. Because what do I get from seeing somebody else's life ruined? Does my life get better? No. It doesn't. You know, we need to stop attacking each other. And we need to stop saying we come from a place of love. There's no difference than being an extremist in religion to being an extremist in culture. When you want to cancel somebody, you're an extremist. And being an extremist, you just want to see the world burn. Because what are you trying to accomplish? If you cancel somebody, if you destroy somebody's career, if you disrespect somebody, if you make somebody commit suicide because they're so anxious and hurt by everything you said about them, what does that say about you? What does that say about you? And stop saying we're a group that welcomes everybody except you guys. I accept everybody. I don't have to go around telling the world that I do, because I just do it. You know what the really awesome thing about being a good person is? When you're just a good person and not telling everybody you're a good person, all the good things you did. Because if you're telling everybody you're a good person, you're probably not. Because good people don't have to tell the world. And it's not your job to decide what's good and what's not. Good morning to Nick here. It's not your job to decide what God is. You know, my name literally means God is my judge. That's what my name means. Daniel means God is my judge. Which means I can't judge anybody. I can disagree, but I can't judge anybody. We need to get better at listening to other people's opinions and not judging them. Because you don't know their story. You know, I mean, I could meet a woman who hates guys and find out that she was abused multiple times and her dad said horrible things to her growing up. So I'm looking at her going, how could you be so rude to me and so mean to me? I consider myself to be a nice guy. I would never hurt you. Why? Because she's been through, and I don't know her story. And I might not agree with how she thinks, but why does she think that way? Trauma does not get solved by creating more trauma. Drama doesn't get solved by creating more drama. And if you try to ruin somebody's life, what if somebody tried to do it to you? See, that's the thing that I don't get about this movement in America, is that everything that they're doing to other people, they would never want done to them. Any person going out there trying to destroy somebody else would lose their mind if somebody called them a duty head. Didn't even swear at them. These people can't take one poke, but they're poking somebody every single day, 55 times a day. And if you have time to attack other people, you're accomplishing nothing in your life. That's the real thing we need to talk about, is how horribly sad is your life that you're trying to destroy somebody else's. Who would do that? Kids don't do that. Kids are taught that. But we should be better than that. So as adults, we need to remember the innocence and the beauty and the fun of being a kid. And as an adult, we need to raise our children to remember the innocence and the beauty and the fun. Martin Luther King would not be proud of today's world. Abraham Lincoln would not be proud of today's world. My grandparents would not be proud of today's world. Because divisiveness doesn't make the planet better. It's just a bunch of people hating other people that don't look like them and sound like them and act like them and believe what they believe. That's not how you get things done. That's not how you work it out. And people are afraid now. They're afraid to broadcast. They're afraid to go sing at a concert. They're afraid to put a movie out there. People that complain about movies, remember when Marvel movies came out and you marveled at them? Remember when you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my favorite character's on the screen. Now people, oh my Lord. People go see a Marvel movie now, 20 plus movies in, and and they're ripping it apart. Now I have movies I like and I don't like, but I'm not there to disrespect. I gave Thor Love and Thunder a 2 out of 10. But I never said that the actors weren't trying to act and the directors weren't trying to direct and the screenwriters weren't trying to write and that they didn't have a vision. I personally didn't like it, but I cannot like something and at the same time not personally attack or disrespect somebody. I can say, this movie to me didn't stay true to the characters. But to everybody that worked on it, God bless you. I mean, you made a movie. And there were things about the movie I liked. There was more things that I didn't like. But I respectfully had a constructive opinion that wasn't personally attacking, canceling, evil, or mean. Why can't we do that? Why can't we go try something at a restaurant, and, oh, I don't like it. Instead of going on Facebook and taking a picture of the sandwich and saying, oh my gosh, it was disgusting, and I can't even believe that they gave this to me, and the beef was probably made from a rat, and I just feel like this place should get closed down, and they suck, and I hope that they die. Like, you didn't like the sandwich. Move on. That's it. Okay? Stop being mean to other people and stop masking it as, oh, I'm just loving it. You're not loving anybody in society if you're being mean. And you cannot ask somebody to not hate you when you hate them, to not disrespect you when you disrespect them. This is how I look at life. If you treat me like a piece of garbage, I am not going to give you an eye for an eye, but I am definitely not going to sit there and talk to you. If you want to treat me like garbage, that's your choice. I'm not going to give it back to you, and I most certainly am not going to give it back to you and pretend like I'm holier than thou. Because I think the only thing worse than hate is people that think they're good people and go out and hate people. That's the only thing worse, is when someone's like, oh, I'm such a good person, I do so many great things, and then they do very hateful things. My annoying moment of the week is that we need to cancel culture. We need to stop hating each other. And if I'm saying anything that offends you, you're probably doing it. Because who in their right mind would want to cancel, disrespect, destroy, maim, scrutinize, belittle, betray, lie about, and hurt another person? Nobody on this planet should ever want to see somebody else in pain. And so we need to pull the veil off of this and stop pretending that it's a movement for acceptance and justice and positivity. It's not. If you're a human being out there hurting another person, you are not positive, you are not seeking justice, you are not humane. There are real problems in life. Poverty is a real thing. The protection of children is a real thing. People still being treated like slaves is a real thing. Not having enough food or drink is a real thing. Disease is a real thing. Not having access to resources is a real thing. People in countries that do not feel safe to speak their own mind or to even go outside is a real thing. We live in America where we have the freedom to be idiots or to be kind. In other countries, if you're an idiot, you might get beheaded that day. So, again, living in the country we live in, we're so spoiled to the point that we think we can say and do anything without any repercussions. And that is outrageously false. And how disrespectful is it to somebody in a third world country for us to be hurting and attacking and trying to destroy the lives of other people, going about their days, driving in the car, humming, while somebody's on a computer somewhere trying to find something wrong with that person, trying to destroy them, and that person has no idea. Who in their right mind would ever take the time to do that. Somebody who has literally nothing going on in their lives, with hate in their heart. I try to love and hug everybody I possibly can. And some people are like hugging a porcupine, and I pray for those people as much as I pray for anybody. Because the world doesn't need to have less victims. The world needs to have less victims and less perpetrators. If you're not loving, respecting, being kind, and trying, you're not doing it right. Be focused on you. Stop focusing on trying to hurt other people. Nobody should be afraid to go out there and say, hey, can we stop hating each other? If you looked at the people in my life, my friends, we're different. Some of us look alike, some of us don't. Some of us believe in this, some of us don't. Some of us go here, some of us don't. Some of us have this money, some of us don't. We're all different. And I love them all the same. Because closed-mindedness, being naive, ignorance, hate, it destroys your soul. It shrinks your brain. And it weakens your voice. If you want to be something in today's world, at the basis of your humanity, be kind. Because the world doesn't need anybody else trying to sting somebody else. We should have done better a long time ago, but we can't control that. We can only do better now. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. This has been the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you where sports meets life every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll be going past 11 a.m. today to make sure that we get all of our special conversations in, and very excited for what's coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as always. And I appreciate you for being here and hanging out with us where sports truly meets that thing called life. So with that being said, we're going to jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is the acronym here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. It's proudly presented by the fantastic team led by Jimmer Sikowski at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And today's topic on Lead, listening to yourself. How many of us do that? And there's a lot of meanings to what I'm saying when I say listening to yourself. Are you honest with yourself? Like when you listen to yourself, when you hear your words, are you truly hearing what you're saying? Like if something comes out of your mouth, are you listening to it? Are you paying attention to how you talk to other people, to how you talk to yourself? Are you listening to yourself? You know, it's something that somebody will say to you sometimes in an argument. Are you listening to yourself? Can you hear yourself right now? So that's one of the meanings. When are you literally listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth? Because you know the thoughts that you have. But are you listening to how you're delivering those thoughts? Are you listening to how you're talking to other people? Is it sinking in? What you're saying and how you're saying it. Do you listen to your own delivery? The other part of listening to yourself is when your gut is speaking to you, do you listen to it? When your gut says, I don't think this is a good idea, do you listen to it? When your gut says, I think this is a great idea, do you listen to it? Are you listening to your inner voice? Are you listening to yourself when you feel that? Because people say all the time, oh, you know, my gut told me that I shouldn't do it, but I did it. I knew I shouldn't have done it because my gut feeling said don't, but I did it. So why aren't we listening to our gut? Are you hearing your voice? Are you listening to yourself? Are you listening to yourself? When your body is tired, do you hear that? When you say, I'm going to do better at this, do you do that? See, there's all these layers to listening to yourself. Do you actually hear yourself when you're speaking? Or do you tone yourself out? Do you listen to yourself? Do you take care of your health? Do you listen to yourself? Do you trust your gut? Do you listen to yourself? Do you know who you are? You know, I think that's going off of the annoying moment of the week. I think that that's one of the issues in society is so many people are searching for their identity, right? They don't believe in God, so they believe there's nothing above them. They believe nothing made them, nothing's guiding them. So they're already lost in that respect. Then they don't know who they are, who they want to be. They don't know what to wear. They don't know how to act. So then they look to society. Well, if you don't believe in God and you don't know who you are, I mean, let me put it to you like this. If you do not, and granted, people watch and listen to the show that don't believe in God, and I accept you and I welcome you all the time, and I ask you to accept me. My opinion, I don't know how you can live life and not believe in God. I don't know how that works. Because where did I come from? Well, you came from apes, who came from smaller apes, who came from fish, who came from amoebas, and the amoeba jumped out of the water someday. Like, how does an amoeba... Like, what are you talking about? How do I come from a fish? Now, by the way, if we truly only came from... I'm not saying that things don't evolve. I'm saying if we solely came from evolution and no divine purpose, then why haven't we continued to evolve? After all these years, we should have evolved again. Human beings should be evolving, right? We should, maybe we're going to look like avatars now. Maybe we have tailbones, maybe we get tails. Maybe we get blue, maybe we get taller. You know, I mean, to say there is no God is to say that there's no reason to do right or wrong. To say there is no God is to say there's no repercussions for your actions. To say there is no God is to say that we came from nothing, we have no purpose, we're here totally by accident. If you don't believe in God, what do you believe? That the Big Bang happened by accident, and it happened to hit the world by accident, or it happened to create the world by accident, and when it created Earth by accident, it was warm enough but cool enough to have life happen on it by accident, and the water didn't overtake all the land by accident, and then people just came to be by accident. Then those people started to talk with each other by accident, developed a language by accident, migrated to different places and spread culture by accident to have us here by accident today to have this conversation by accident. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? Now, again, I know people that believe in God don't believe in God, and we break bread together all the time. And I don't disrespect them, and they don't disrespect me. Because if they did, we wouldn't be breaking bread together. Well, I shouldn't say that. I try to break bread with people. I try to do the best I can. And if you're like just habitual line stepper, then no. We're not, I'm not going to, I'll pray for you, but I'm not going to keep getting abused in a conversation. So, if there is no God, then what are we doing? What are we building toward? Where are we going after we die? What's the point in loving people? See, if you think about it, if you think about people that don't believe in God and then people that want, and then like anarchy, how that gets in. Look at our society. The more we've taken God out of America, look at what's happened. We have a Catholic as the president of the United States, yet I don't hear anybody talking about Catholicism or religion. So, I mean, God bless America. Praying. Look at all the things that have happened. And whether it's a Democratic, Republican, Independent, whatever president, look at all the things that have happened. Why would a president not pray publicly? Why would a president not reach out and try to spread God and spread love and spread light? We're so afraid about offending people that we end up offending God every day, all the time. My mom said recently, she goes, God has not retaliated, but God has punished humanity throughout history to try and show that he was upset and to say, change your ways. God has been like, okay, you put your hand in the cookie jar way too many times. This is your punishment. Do better. And my mom said, she's like, I'm floored by the fact that God hasn't done anything now. That he hasn't sent a plague, that he hasn't wiped the world clean with another flood. But look at the things that have happened. Look at the wildfires in Canada and what that did to the air quality. It took air quality that over 50 could be questionable, and it was 402 in Syracuse, New York. It was 8 times the probably not a good air quality. Look at COVID. Over 1 million people dead from one thing. People got the shot, died. People didn't get the shot, died. I mean, look at what happened. And now we forgot about it. We're talking about other things now. Did you see what Kim Kardashian said? Oh. Did you see the text from Jonah Hill? Oh. Do you remember that a pandemic killed over 1 million people worldwide? I mean, we lived through something horrendous, scary, terrifying. And we're on to the next thing. We're back on TikTok doing a different dance now. I mean, it's just... Do you listen to yourself? Do you hear what you're saying? Right? Do you value your life? Do you value the lives of the people that are around you? Are you paying attention? Because society crumbling around us is our fault. And I'm not saying you or me specifically. I'm saying humanity. We built it. We also can tear it down. And you can tear it down a lot faster than it takes to build it. And I mean, think about it. Think about all the hours it takes to build that Lego idea you had in your brain. But you could just run up to it one time, punch it, jump into it, and Legos everywhere. You took hours to build this Lego tower, but it takes seconds to knock it over. Do we listen to ourselves? Are we hearing what we're saying? Do you listen to yourself when you're in pain? When you're not healthy, when you say, oh, I want to die, I want to kill myself, I want to disappear. Are you hearing that? Are you seeking help when you hear that? You know, one of the saddest things in our world today, and it goes back to the annoying moment of the week, is people are asking to be accepted, but some of those same people that are asking to be accepted, and it doesn't come from any group, could come from all groups. It's just people. See, I don't group people because nothing good has ever come from that. I don't look at people and go, okay, you're in that group, you're in that group, you're in that group. So I don't like people when they group me. Oh, you're that guy? No. Oh, you're a straight edge? Why? Well, you don't drink and you don't do drugs. Okay. So I want control of my body and I want to be able to make my decisions and I don't want to be taken advantage of and I want to truly feel like myself and I don't want to mask my pain by pretending I'm okay for a couple hours because I took something. What is wrong with any of that? You want to know how I deal with my problems? Head on. No drugs, no alcohol, no extracurriculars. I talk to God. And when I'm wrong, I talk to God. When I think I'm right, I talk to God. And when I don't know, I talk to God. I reach out to my friends. I reach out to my family. I lay down with Lily. I talk to her. You know, we want in our society, we want everybody to hear us. But do we hear ourselves? Do some of these people that are pounding the you know, pounding the pulpit and speaking, do they hear what they're saying? When I turn this mic on every single day, I have to be cognizant of what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. I have to think about how to come out with the words and the feelings that I have. Word diarrhea is almost never a good thing. And I always come from a place of love. When I'm upset about something, I'm coming from a place of love. You know, prime example. I got divorced. Do I hate her? Absolutely not. Do I wish bad on her? Absolutely not. Am I happy with the way she treated me? Absolutely not. Am I happy with what she did to us? Absolutely not. Do I respect what she did? Absolutely not. But do I respect the fact that she's a human being and she deserves all the happiness in the world? Absolutely. Do I pray for her? Absolutely. Do I pray for her family? Absolutely. Am I grateful that when she screwed up, she did it so early in my life that I wasn't here 40 years into a marriage going, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Absolutely. We weren't meant for each other. We honestly probably should have never dated. In hindsight, 2020 shows you that. But do I want her to have a bad life? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why? Because violence begets more violence. Negativity begets more negativity. Hate begets more hate. What is me hating her after I felt like she did something hateful to me? How's that going to make my life better? And how's it going to make her life better? People, well, who cares about her? She hurt you. Okay. We both could have been better. We both could have done better. And when push came to shove, after a lot of time and a lot of thought, it just wasn't right for me anymore. Regardless of the last thing she did, there was enough leading up to it that I just didn't want to be a part of it anymore. I'd rather be alone for the rest of my life when it comes to a romantic relationship than stay in a marriage where I feel like I'm nothing to the other person. I had to listen to myself. And that's the topic of Lead today. It's not easy. So many things we talk about on the show, they're not easy. That's why we talk about them. It's not easy to listen to yourself. Because sometimes listening to yourself means getting up and leaving. Taking yourself out of a situation. Getting uncomfortable. The only way you grow in life is to learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the only way you grow. It's the only way you grow. Is by being uncomfortable, getting uncomfortable. There's a prayer, and God always shows up on time. I'm going to read this to you. All right, it's a statement actually from the Bible. But I'm going to read it to you here. It's from 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14, which leads to 21, ironically. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. It's everything I talked about in the annoying moment of the week in Lead. And I just saw this. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sins, and I will heal their land. It's not as hard as we're making it out to be. We just have to remember it's not just us, right? We came from someone, and we're going somewhere. We need to do better. We need to try harder. We need to listen to that inner voice, that little voice. You might have buried it amidst pain, past experiences, drama. You might, you think about it like your soul, that thing that reminds you that God exists, that talks to you all the time and is always honest with you, that voice from God, that voice inside of you, it might be like it's in an attic. You might have draped an old sheet over it, pushed it into a corner. It's got cobwebs all over it, and you don't even know it's there. You totally forgot. You haven't been up in the attic in years. Well, it's time to go up in the attic, as scared as you are. It's time to look for that soul of yours, dust it off, get the cobwebs and the spiders off of it, pull the sheet off of it, clean it, and bring it into the sunlight. Take it out of the attic. Put it out there again. Love is the only answer. And if we all took some time to listen to ourselves a little bit more, we would understand why we're angry, what we're angry about, and what we need. Because if you don't know yourself and you don't listen to yourself, who the heck else is supposed to listen to you and understand you if you don't understand yourself? If we want to be better, we got to do better. And it starts inside out. You can't run out into this world not knowing who you are and what you're about and what matters to you, with your soul up in the attic, all dusty and gross and in the corner. You can't bring anything to society if you're doing that. You have to listen to yourself. Love yourself. Care about yourself. And know who you are. Because if you don't, this world is going to eat you up and spit you out. When you do know who you are, this world tries to eat you up and spit you out. But if you don't know who you are, you're going to get lost. And some people get lost forever. And I don't want one human being to feel lost forever. And for the record, I could have somebody hate my guts, hate everything about me. I'm going to give you a hug. I'm going to say, I don't know why you do. I don't know what happened in your life to make you so angry and so hateful. And I don't know what I did to you to make you feel that way, because I don't do mean things to people deliberately wanting to see them hurt. So if you hate me and you don't like me and you want me to get canceled, or you want to destroy me, or you just hate my voice or whatever, I'm going to give you a hug. I bet you nobody else that you hate gave you a hug. I'm going to give you a hug. And I'm going to pray for you. Because only broken souls try to break others. And I'm not in the business of leaving my soul broken, nor am I in the business of breaking yours. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Go out and visit them Monday through Saturday. They are closed on Sundays in honor of the Lord. We appreciate Jim Rusakowski and his teams. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge, and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. You can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day, and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. They can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Head out today, beautiful day. Go out to 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Or if you're in the North Country, head out there just down the road from wherever you are today to Chick-fil-A Watertown. And a big thanks to Chick-fil-A Watertown for all that we get to do together. A big shout out to the Brady family, to Merritt, Catherine, and Owen for all that you do to lead Chick-fil-A Watertown, the first Chick-fil-A in that area in Watertown, New York, and right by Fort Drum. And I know they care very much so about the military and the surrounding community, as well as everybody who comes in to visit. So much love to Chick-fil-A Watertown, open Monday through Saturday on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. And they are the exclusive presenter of our North Country Spotlight that we do with their team members and their leadership. So very excited for what we have to come, and definitely implore you to check out all of the wonderful stories that we've been able to tell, including most recently the story of Jordan Flagg from Chick-fil-A Watertown. With that being said, it's time to jump into our Top Dog of the Week. Top Dog of the Week proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. This one is an easy one for me because my top dog of the week has to do with the conversation that's coming up right after it. My top dog of the week has got to be Moyne in all stretches of the imagination for getting these amazing games coming up. The men's soccer team is going to go and start their season on the road at Penn State, and then you have the men's basketball team going to start their season on the road at Georgetown. Big Ten, Big East. A lot of great stuff coming up. Definitely want to stay tuned because more awesome announcements are going to be made with these teams. And I've spoken with other coaches at Moyne on the Heights that are looking for those New York matchups that could become rivalries, with the opportunities of playing St. Bonaventure and Niagara and Albany and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of wonderful things coming up. I'm ecstatic about that. So my top dog of the week, Moyne, their coaches, Bob Beretta, Dr. Linda Lemura, all coming together, working together on the Heights for these really amazing opportunities that we have coming up, including the Moyne men's soccer team opening their season at Penn State and the Moyne men's basketball team opening their season on election night in our nation's capital of Washington, D.C. at Georgetown. With that being said, shout out to my top dogs, to all of you on the Heights, and God bless you all. K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, not too far away, probably like 10 minutes from Moyne's campus. You'll find K9 Camp Dog Daycare for short-term care for your dog, and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, where each dog gets a cabin for long-term care for your dog. Those both located in East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street, and like I said, maybe 10 minutes from Moyne's campus, and you'll find them here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora all the time, and always on our website on wakeupcalldt.com. You can click on their logos to bring you to their sites. And if you want some care for your dog, which we all need it sometimes, the daycare is 315-437-7110. And the campground right around the corner from the daycare is 315-299-4013. Call them up now because they will pack up quickly, and they do get busy well in advance. So make sure that you call them today. Thanks to Lorraine, Chad, and the team for not only bringing us a fantastic partnership, but even more so than that, taking care of our dogs, including my little Miss Lily. God bless you all at K9 Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. And once again, God bless the wonderful workers at Moyne College that are giving us some really awesome news on incredible scheduling that's going to make this move into Division I immediately exciting, with teams like Penn State and Georgetown and more to come. With that being said, speaking of more to come, we will take a step aside and we'll hear from Nate Champion on the heels of the news breaking and my article being released on wakeupcalldt.com that Moyne will have their first ever game in Division I be at Georgetown on election night this November 7th, 2023. Right after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We underpromise and overdeliver when it comes to our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Moyne College Dolphins. Wednesdays at 9 a.m. is Dolphin time, but I felt like being greedy and I don't want to wait. So Nate Champion is here with me, picture in picture, the men's basketball head coach with the Moyne Dolphins. And we are on the heels of what I got to announce and write up on wakeupcalldt.com. You can check it out on the articles tab. And that is that Moyne will open up their men's basketball season for the first time ever as a Division I institution, playing on Election Day in the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. against the Georgetown Hoyas. Oh, my goodness. So with that being said, I'm like, I can't wear shoes anymore. I keep jumping out of them. So with that being said, I got Nate Champion here with me. Nate, how are we doing?
I'm doing well, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, one, you kept this secret so well. Two, thank God it's finally out there.
Yeah. No, it's been something that's been in the works really for a long time. And then, honestly, kind of even before the whole, I guess, whatever you want to say, announcement of Division I, people were, as we led up to that announcement, there were a lot of people that were calling and you know, that we couldn't entertain, but that was one phone number that I kept.
So before the announcement even came, you're saying schools were calling you up saying like, hey, if you guys actually do this, we want in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Was there a lot of phone calls?
I didn't know that many people could get my number, to be honest with you. So
did you ask any of them, like, how did you get my number?
No,
okay.
No. It's not that hard to get. I mean,
well, you know what it is? Your number's easier to get than food from your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? And I know now to just go through your fiance, because when I met her, she's like, oh my God, come over anytime. We'll cook. She kind of looked at you like, why haven't we had Dan over for food? So I think I'm going through her now. I think that's how this is going to work.
Smart.
So you got Georgetown, not just you have Georgetown, but it's your first ever Division I game in the history of Lemoyne men's basketball. So we're going to look back on this 5 years from now, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years from now, and see that this was the first game. What does that mean to you that Lemoyne Georgetown is going to be that first official Division I matchup?
I think it's a home run on so many levels. I mean, we can start by the first, Division I game in Lemoyne history, which, in its own way is a milestone for the school. And I think the second way to look at it is a Jesuit school. So, that connection that we have with the Jesuit schools in the world really is something that Lemoyne takes great pride in. And, when Georgetown called about this possible game, I thought, what better way to start the season and to start our Division I journey than against Georgetown in the nation's capital. I think that'll be a lot of fun, and, it should be a great atmosphere as well.
And it's on election day.
It is.
How does that all just kind of work out? Tuesday, November 7th, election night in the nation's capital, first game in Division I ever for Lemoyne. I mean, that's special in and of itself that you're playing on election night in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really words that can describe, like, I guess the ways that it affects Lemoyne. It's the right move on every level, to be honest. There wasn't anything where we were looking at that game saying, I don't know. It was almost an absolute, as soon as we worked out the details of, the date and time and all that stuff.
So, and what time, I want to let everybody know too, you'll be tipping off.
I believe 7:00. I'll have to triple check that one. But.
Okay. So, but we have this nighttime matchup in the nation's capital. So exciting. And I mean, obviously I told you off the air that I've decided that whatever plans could be on November 7th, if there was anything there, it can't be anymore. And if there was or there wasn't, I know where I'm going to be this November 7th. I will be in DC with you, your team, and enjoying this very historic game. For you, are you ready for those lights? Are you ready to? I mean, I know basketball is basketball, but this is Georgetown. This is a big moment. You're going to be the first coach to coach the men's basketball team in a Division I game. So you're stepping into history. And when those lights come on and you're standing on the sideline, we have a historic team in Georgetown, and we have this beautiful and wonderful Lemoyne institution that is making history. I mean, this is painting its own picture in a beautiful mosaic even before the game tips off. Are you ready for those lights?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think with us, we prepared to build a roster that was going to be able to compete at a national level. And with the guys that we added to our roster, along with the guys that we have brought back, there's not really a better group of guys that I would want to go into this game with. They work hard, they do the right things, and, they're being rewarded for it right now. And, as we move forward with our program, that's going to be what we really hang our hat on is the character of our players. And, Obviously, their ability to play basketball is what gets them here, but there's a lot more that goes into a Lemoyne student athlete than just playing basketball. And we really live by our motto here at Lemoyne, and one of those being, the Lemoyne way, and one of those pillars being men and women for others. And the guys that we have on our team are a special group, and I'm excited that we get to showcase that group on a national stage. And as far as for me, absolutely, I'm ready. I mean, second youngest coach in the country. Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, what are you mad that you're not the youngest? Do you want to say something to the youngest coach of the country? I mean, what are your thoughts on being the second youngest D1 men's basketball coach now?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that have to fall your way, and a lot of hard work that goes into it. But reaching a goal to be a Division I head coach is something that was on my bucket list, and that's only halfway to the end of the list. So there's a lot more work that has to go into it, and like I said, there's not a better group of guys that I would rather go into this season with. So I'm really excited. Our guys have been working hard, and our assistant coaching staff has done a great job as well this summer. And with all the extra tasks that go into transitioning to Division I, their plates have been full, and they've done a great job of responding and putting our program in a great position as well.
Coming here from Nate Champion in this very special Dolphin Dive on the heels of the men's basketball team, stating that they're going to be opening their first ever Division I season on the road at Georgetown Tuesday, November 7th, and having a nighttime game there on election night. Nate, you come in, you get the job, I believe, May of 2019 for your alma mater. You have 2019-20 where you go 19-9. And then 2020, 2021, there's no competition due to COVID. Then 2021, 22, 12 and 15. This past year, 15 and 15, ending at 500. What have you taken away from your 4 years back and 3 seasons as you step into Division I?
I think the biggest thing was just understanding, how to build a program and ways to build it. And I think after the first year and hitting COVID, there were a lot of things that changed that I don't think anybody was ready for, but especially somebody that was, ending their first year as a head coach. And then now you have to embark on a journey of, basically relying on film and cold calling kids and things like that to fill out your roster. And we lost a great group of seniors after that first year, and we've been building it back. And again, a lot that went into building the team that we have now is understanding the type of player that is successful here at Lemoyne, and really focusing in on a few attributes that we think make our student athletes successful here, and what makes them successful on the basketball court, and going after those guys. And I think that'll be a reflection of the team that we put out on the floor this year.
Yeah, you talk about the team and making sure that with the guys coming back and with players that you have through the transfer portal, as well as, a freshman coming in out of high school, as you were putting this roster together and really seeing it come to fruition. I know you and I've talked about it here, but as we get closer and closer to the season, how would you describe what it looks like and why you believe, like you said, you wouldn't want to go into this season, into D1, into Georgetown with any other group of guys? Why are you saying it? What does it look like?
I mean, I think we just have a complete package of experience, talent, skill, IQ. I mean, there's guys on our team that have experience at the Division I level, different schools, Division II level, high level AAU. I mean, you name it, they've been through it. And, I think the guys that we have are understanding, what we're trying to accomplish here at Lemoyne, and establishing ourselves as a Division I program that can compete. And they wanted to come here before the announcement to Division I. And so they didn't come here just because we're a Division I program now. and I think that says a lot on them for their character. And, we recruited them understanding that there was the possibility of that. But we didn't try to sell that as a reason why you should come to Lemoyne. You come to Lemoyne for success on the basketball court, but also, for a high quality education that's going to take you a lot further in life than just on the court. So, the people that we have here is that type of student athlete that really cares about, being successful on and off the floor.
And you've done some recruiting recently. What has the trail been like with, now, like you said, you had guys come there that wanted to play for Lemoyne before you became a Division I institution. Now that you are a Division I institution, what can you tell me about the recruiting trail?
I mean, it's pretty much the same, to be honest. Identifying players that are going to translate into, successful student athletes here at Lemoyne. And then I think the biggest difference is who you're recruiting against. You're not recruiting against other Division II programs that are, quality programs in the Northeast, like, the top programs in the NE10 and Division II programs across the country. You're now Division I, and you have to, recruit against those programs. And it just really doesn't change. I mean, it just changes who the offer is coming in from and, who you're recruiting against, really. But I think, for us, really recognizing the players that are going to be successful for us here at Lemoyne and going after those guys and, relaying that message to them.
So to get back to, all this, this group of guys that you have, these student athletes going into this first game against Georgetown, they have a new coach, and Ed Cooley's been the Providence coach for a long time, been in the Big East, spent a lot of years there, didn't get the respect that he necessarily deserved, but maybe more now he's finally getting that, as Georgetown said, hey, stay in the Big East, but come to us. So when you get ready to face off in that matchup with Georgetown on Tuesday, November 7th, as much as Ed Cooley's a known name, this is still going to be some history for him too. What are your thoughts about, going up against Georgetown with their new head coach, and thoughts on Ed Cooley on the opposite sideline?
Yeah, I mean, Ed's a great coach. I mean, he's had a ton of success at Providence, and, he's a Big East guy. You can't really beat around that bush. He's someone that's been in the Big East, coached in the Big East, played, so all of that stuff goes, hand in hand, and
yeah,
he has a lot of respect, and I respect him a lot with the way that his guys play, and he'll have them ready to go, and we'll be ready to go as well.
I know that you're keeping the schedule close to your vest, but I will ask you this. As you were assembling the schedule, what were you looking to include? Like, what did you want the schedule to provide for this team and for the fan base?
I think the biggest thing for us was obviously, choosing teams that can draw interest from our fans, but also understanding, where we're located and the teams that we have around here, and the like schools that we will see a lot, that surround this area. And it is nice that within 2 hours we can get to about 7 schools, I think it is. So, for us, that's different than when we were Division II. There were only, I think, Roberts Wesleyan was the closest, so that's an hour away. So I think for us, it was really just understanding what we're trying to accomplish and being competitive and kind of choosing games that way.
I think we should do the staring contest game. And if I can get you to laugh, then I know that that's one of the teams, but I won't do that to you. So, so something we could do for the future, right? I think there should be a little game show back and forth with you, Nate. We'll figure it out.
I don't know if you'd win though. I mean, I'm 1-0 right now. So
you are really good at it. It's you're very, I will say that you have I think I have a good poker face. You really genuine. I can vouch for you. You have a poker face that would not let anybody know if you're swinging either way.
I guess I have practice with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's you got your game face. That's what you
Yeah.
have. So Georgetown is coming up. We're super excited about it. We know that Georgetown doesn't like a team in this city, but what are your thoughts on that? I mean, Syracuse is that rivalry, right? So the fan base at Lemoyne, people that grew up in Syracuse, people that have come to Syracuse, they know that Georgetown is this adversary. So do you feel like there will already be kind of that emotion because of the people in central and upstate New York hearing about Georgetown? You don't see a lot of Georgetown jerseys or hats or t-shirts anywhere. I think I saw one. I told the guy, I hope you're a visitor. So what do you think that element does to it? Because Georgetown is not an unfamiliar name to Syracuse natives.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I think, especially here in Syracuse, anytime Georgetown's mentioned, there's a little cringe that comes after it. But for us, I think it's a great opportunity for Lemoyne, and obviously our rivalry, I wouldn't even call it that, because it's not. And for us, it's a great way for us to kick off Division One, and something that will go in the history books as our first Division One game, which is awesome. But I don't think it, we don't have the storied history of Syracuse Georgetown, and we're not going to get there anytime soon. So with us, I think it's just really being ready for the game, and understanding what it means to Lemoyne, and how it puts really Lemoyne on a national level, and understanding that and really playing to that, and showing what we can do.
I mean, I think it doesn't hurt. When I posted the news, the excitement was coming from all over the place. That people were, when they saw that logo on the other side, they're amped up about it and really excited for Lemoyne, which is an awesome thing. I'm excited for this opportunity. My final note here is, like you said, one of the things that you wanted was to become a Division I head coach. It's a unique way in that you came back to your alma mater, which was D2, and then as it reclassified, you're now a Division I head coach. So why do you feel like you're ready to lead this program into Division I, number one? And number two, because you and I didn't get to talk about this on the air, your thoughts on the postseason being wide open in the NEC after they changed the rules?
Well, first, on being Division I head coach, and that, I mean, there's a lot of things that I went through, and experiences that I had to go through to put myself in a position to be here. And I think you create your own luck. And for me, it is lucky, but being at Lemoyne and being my alma mater, it's a place that I know, and I couldn't be prouder to lead us into the Division I realm. And I think, with the group of guys that we have and the program situated the way that it is, I think there's a lot of room for success there as well. So, for me, I couldn't be happier to be a Division I head coach here at Lemoyne. Coming to school here as a Division II program, taking the job as a Division II program, and understanding the potential that Lemoyne has, and seeing the vision of our leadership, and them trusting me to be the coach here is something that, I have great honor in. And, I really look forward to leading the program and continue, moving it forward, and moving that needle forward as we move on. And then what was your second question? Because
the NEC having.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's, we talk about in our coaches meetings in the NEC, just, one of the pillars is student athlete experience. And for a team not to be able to compete right away, and understanding that, I think, kind of the turning point there was, well, what student athlete experience are we giving as a conference, and a huge kudos to Noreen, the commissioner, for just trusting in that, and sticking to those pillars that the NEC has. And that's why the NEC is continuing to move forward and continue to improve. It's just, they're not afraid to do things that are out of the norm, and continue to move forward, which is why you're seeing success there.
Yeah. So, well, I appreciate the time that we got to spend here after the news of Georgetown. I appreciate the game face, poker face, whatever we want to call it. But Nate, if you'll oblige me to stay on screen while I get to say this, and I'm not saying this because you're on screen, but I want you to hear it. You and I got to meet years ago, and really, when you came into the program, I wanted to be right in there at the ground floor. I wanted to introduce myself, and I wanted you to know that I was in your corner. And that was before, the exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. It was before any of that, before D1, well before D1. And, gotten to meet, be around you, be around your staff, break bread with you. And I can honestly say that I'm very proud that not only are you the coach, but that you're bringing us into Division I. I think that what's to come with Georgetown and all the excitement that we have to start off this season and the season in general is going to be great. And you're a good person. You're a good person in our community. You're a hardworking guy. You and I get to joke around, off the air and have some fun. And whenever I get you to laugh, that's always a victory for me. But, I can tell you more than anything else, you want to see good people succeed and you want to see good people rise. And I couldn't have picked a better person. I'm happy that you're at Lemoyne. I'm happy you came back. I'm happy we met years ago. And I'm happy that I always have an excuse to have you on the show because I respect you and I appreciate you and I love what you're doing. So, beyond everything, beyond wins and losses, thank you for being so good to me. And, thanks for helping us make history.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. And, I think there's a lesson I learned pretty young. My great grandma actually told me it's, good people get good things. And if you do things the right way, that's, what's going to come your way, whether it's you have to go through a storm to get to some sunshine, you never know. But I think, the hard work and that lesson that I learned at a young age has just kind of stuck with me. So, for me, I just try to do things the right way and the best way that I can and let the chips fall where they may. But I don't get to be in this seat without understanding, ways to move up and work hard at it. And, doing things the right way has gotten me here. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. But, I really appreciate our relationship that we have and, it'll continue. So.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. By the way, Drew Valentine, I mean, seriously, dude, you got to be just a little bit younger. That's ridiculous. But I think we should play Loyola Chicago now. I think that's what it should come down to. I see you, Drew. Keep doing good work. But, but as always, Nate, thank you for everything. And if we're getting stuff from our grandparents and from our elders and our family in general, then we're getting it from a good place. So thanks for all that you're doing. And I look forward to what's coming up November 7th. And I look forward to what's coming up with more of the schedule release, which I'm impatiently patient for.
Yeah, well, when it comes out, you'll know.
Nice. Thanks. Talk with you soon.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome here to a very special wake-up call with Dan Tortora. I am picture-in-picture with Ryan Birchard here of the Auburn Maroons history for Auburn High School in Central and Upstate New York, who went on to Niagara County Community College, and as we were talking about off the air, was committed for a while to UConn, then committed to Oregon. But guess what? He's going to the majors instead, to the Milwaukee Brewers. So awesome opportunity. Here in this Central New York Spotlight, I'm all about Central and Upstate New York. And, this is where I was born and raised, North Side, Syracuse. And it's been incredibly important to me. It kind of just grew over these last 19 plus years of always keeping a connection to my hometown in my broadcasting career and wanting to see people in this community, including student athletes, grow and blossom and succeed, and to put an eye on Central and Upstate New York. So we started the hashtag Support CNY at the beginning of COVID, and we also started Recruit New York, and so the Recruit NY hashtag as well. It's so very vital to me that our men and women here in the community get eyes and ears connected to them. So Ryan, I'm so happy to be here with you today because you are an example and a giant beacon of hope to people that everything that we talk about here on the show about recruiting Central New York, Upstate New York, the state of New York for any sport is vital. It's important. And there's student athletes here that are so good, and beyond everything, they're good people. So welcome to Wake Up Call, and thank you for proving us right here in the state of New York.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Pleasure.
So Ryan, for you, I mean, this has been a journey, but I want to go back to the beginning for you. How did you fall in love with baseball?
You know, sports in my family, it's a big deal. I started playing football, baseball, and basketball. Played all those, so I stayed busy throughout the whole year. And then played all those all the way up through like 7th, 8th grade. And after that, I just decided to start playing baseball solely. But yeah.
So you said you played a bunch of different sports, but you eventually shifted to baseball. What was it about baseball that you said to yourself, okay, I'm playing a bunch of different things, I'm enjoying them, but this has to be my focus? Why did you turn to baseball specifically and key in on that sport alone?
I just enjoyed it more. Nothing really, no traumatic events in any other sport happened to make me go away from those. I just enjoyed baseball the most and thought, that's just what I enjoyed. That's what I wanted to do. But yeah, that's really it for baseball.
So you're in Auburn, you're playing there for high school, playing for the Maroons. Bring me to your time in Auburn and what it meant for you to be on that team.
No, yeah, it was a good time. Great group of guys. Coach T's great. But yeah, just a great group. Everybody, we got a great home field. It's a good time. It was a little while ago. But yeah, it was good.
What'd you learn from being there? What'd you take away from Auburn?
It's just like a family setting. Everybody's behind everybody. Everybody wants to have everybody do good, especially themselves and everybody else around them. Parents support all the other kids. It's good.
So we look at coming up in Central and Upstate New York and being a student athlete. Did you have a chip on your shoulder coming from the state of New York? Did you feel like you had to do more or showcase yourself more or try to get out to more places? Did you ever feel that?
Yeah, for sure. I know. In my opinion, I think, some people may just look the other way when they see a kid from New York. You think about baseball, you think of the kids from down south, out west. Weather's always nice. I've always been told a lot of people in the baseball world think the kids from Florida, you could say down south or out west, are years ahead of us. Because they could play year round. They're always outside. But yeah, a little bit of chip on my shoulder.
So how do we change that? How do we change that belief that a bunch of people carry when it comes to New York not getting the respect that it deserves?
I think this goes to show, there is talent up here. I mean, obviously, I got drafted by the Brewers here, and the Brewers had a first rounder out of New York as well. Josh North. I'm not sure if I'm saying the last name correctly. But just goes to show that there is talent here, and I don't know why people might look the other way when there's true talent up here.
So we look at your world as a right-handed pitcher. Did you always, from being a little kid, you always want to pitch? Did you have another position that you had dreamt of playing before getting on the mound? Bring me into when you started to really fall in love with pitching.
Well, to be honest, I just always kind of threw harder than a lot of other people. And I'd say I was a thrower. I don't know where the ball was going. It was always hard, but it was all over the place. And I'd say my last 2 years at N-Trip is kind of where I locked it in of being a pitcher more than a thrower.
So, like you said, being a thrower, you knew you were going to throw hard. You didn't know exactly where it was going. How did you train yourself to continue to throw hard, but to position and direct the ball? Bring me into kind of your journey of being able to target better?
Yeah, I think a lot of it goes into, in my opinion, it's just a lot of catch play, just playing catch well and trying to hit people in the chest the whole time. Just playing catch, and then hopefully that translates to the mound. And for me, it did translate to the mound. I know I do have my fair share of walks for sure, especially at the beginning of this year. But I was able to cut down in the second half, and yeah.
How do you adjust? Like you said, when you had your fair share of walks at the first portion of this past season at Niagara County Community College, how did you shift gears in the second portion of the season? What did you change? How do you adjust to minimizing those things? Because I think it's one thing to be a pitcher who could do things well, and it's even better to be a pitcher who can make a mistake and then be able to transition yourself and make those tweaks that people might not see with the naked eye, but that you see in your game.
Yeah, it's just getting ahead early, attacking with a fastball, getting ahead early, and then once you're ahead, you can kind of fool around with hitters, throw off speed. Even if it's not for a strike, you can just throw it for them to see it, maybe get a chase, and not have the walks, and just, like I said, get ahead with the fastball. And yeah, maybe sometimes I'll take a little bit off the fastball, slow it down just to get it in there for a strike. But yeah, that's what I do.
And coming here from Ryan Birchard on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in the Central and Upstate New York Spotlight, as he is going from the Auburn Maroons to Niagara Community College, as well, Niagara County Community College, into the Milwaukee Brewers. The choice to go to Niagara County Community College, Niagara NCCC, what was it about that? Because as I was telling you off the air, I just had sitting in with me in studio just a few days ago, Bryce Cicero, who was going to go to East Stroudsburg and then transition to Niagara County Community College. He gave me his reasons. Why did you go?
Yeah, I think Coach Kling, Coach CJ, Coach Bex, Coach Todd, the whole group over there, they buy into you, and after you really feel that they bought into you, you buy into them. And, Kling's a great guy. He has a ton of connection. Coach CJ has a ton of connection. Those are the patient guys over there. And yeah, I'd say you just got to buy into the program. They have a good track record of sending kids off and then doing well. So yeah, I think a lot of kids looking if they can't go to a 4-year right away and they need to go to junior college, yeah, they got the coaching out there for it, for sure.
And why do you think, like you said, you talked about the coaching and having the coaches out there to help and whatnot. Why do you believe it's just been a good transitionary place to get looked at by the majors? Because when I was speaking with Bryce Cicero, he said, hey, I want to go to Niagara County Community College because I believe I can go to that school and get drafted. Even though it's a 2-year school, not a 4-year, he's like, I believe I could go there and find my way into the Major League Baseball draft. And you obviously did. What's going on at Niagara County Community College that you feel like from the teaching and from, what is essentially happening and how they teach or what they do, the secret sauce that if you go to Niagara, there is an opportunity to get noticed by the majors?
It's Crone with Kling. I put a lot of it on Kling, Coach Klingersmith. We call him Kling. He knows a lot of people, and if he thinks you're good enough, obviously he's gonna make those texts, he's gonna make those calls and say, here, come check out this guy. And I said that's what he did for me, and all it takes is one guy. And for me, it was kind of beginning of the year, one guy, and then one guy turned to two turned to five turned to 10. Just people hear, you get buzz out there. People talk for sure. That's what I think. He starts out. He'll start you out. He knows people. People know people, and I think that's how it happens out there.
Did you have a sense of that before committing to Niagara County Community College? Did you kind of see like, okay, this could be a good bridge for me to not go too far away from home and still get looked at by Major League Baseball? Was that a part of your decision making? Was there connection that they already had?
Yeah, for sure. I know there's been a couple people drafted out of there. I know Kling told me he thinks that I could, and whether I believe that, I obviously I did a little bit. I didn't believe it fully. Obviously I'm a big guy, so it hasn't happened till it happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously everything worked out, and Kling said it's gonna happen, and it did.
So you had, like you said, you had committed for a while to UConn, and then eventually switched to Oregon. Bring me through the recruitment process of finishing up at Niagara County Community College. What was it about UConn, and then what shifted you to Oregon?
Yeah, so funny story. UConn, it was a problem with baseball or anything. Me not wanting to go there. I had trouble with transferring credits in. I'd have to take a couple summer classes in order to go out there, and I just wasn't willing to take the summer classes. And then my agent, Mike Bonanno, was like, hey, I think I know some schools that you could probably get in with what you have right now. And it's like, okay, so that's why we made a decision to decommit. And yeah, and Oregon, Coach Waz, he just would always talk to me. They were out on a regional game in the airport, right? And they just won. And they're going to super regionals, and I got a FaceTime from them. And, they were talking to me nonstop. If I'm on your mind after you just won a regional game to go to super regionals, especially at their home stadium, obviously, they could see me there. Obviously, I'm not going there anymore. I talked to Coach Wise, and he said, if I ever need a place to work out in the off season on the West Coast, I'm always welcome. Because he said, once a duck, always a duck. I was a duck for a short time, but yeah, it was that's it.
I mean, how difficult and dicey is this process? Because you come out of high school from Auburn, you got to figure out where you're going to go. You go to a community college, in Niagara County Community College. You finish up there, and you have a couple of years under your belt. You're trying to get drafted, but then you're also trying to find a school in case. So all of these moving parts are happening, and if you don't get drafted, then you're going to be a duck. Or if you do get drafted, but maybe you don't like the situation, you could still be a duck. And then, like you said, you decommitted from UConn. So as you're trying to kind of keep everything together, you're a young man. You're not that old here. I mean, share with everybody how old you are right now today.
Actually, my birthday was yesterday. I turned 20 yesterday, but I got drafted as 19-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess you could say I'm kind of young for my grade if you're looking at it in a school standpoint. I know a lot of guys are usually 22. They're not this young and going into their junior year of college. But yeah, it's hard to because I'm not a fan of the recruiting process, to be honest. It's a lot of talking. It's a lot of people. It's a business on the outside of a game. People have to understand that it's a business. Coaches are they want you. They're going to talk to you all the time. They're going to call you. They're going to say things like we're better than them. Blah blah blah. It's just they're just trying to get you. And I think you just got to go with that kind of where your heart tells you to go, where you're going to play, where people want you the most. Not just don't go to the big name. I know it may look like I went to the big name, but like I said, Coach Wise called me and talked to me all the time. It was hard to say no to them after they put hours in the phone talking to me, and just giving me attention.
And that's as the thing. Speaking here with Ryan Birchard from Auburn, the Maroons onto Niagara County Community College, and now to Major League Baseball on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in the Central and Upstate New York Spotlight, as we continue to spotlight our student athletes of all different sports here in our community and to give them a place to tell their story because they deserve it. Ryan, you going through all of this, like you said, it was so hard, but because there's so many of these moving parts and things going on, like you said, you got drafted as a 19-year-old. Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And so now you're 20 at the time that we're talking. You're 20 years old, and you have all of these things moving at the same time. You're getting recruited. You're trying to find the right place. You're doing your education side. You're training for baseball. You're trying to get into the majors. How do you keep all of this stuff straight as a 19 going into 20-year-old? How do you handle the fact that this is kind of like an earthquake? There's like tectonic plates that are just moving, and you're trying to keep yourself level-headed. How did you stay level-headed through this whole process?
it's just kind of going taking one thing at a time. You know, you gotta get your schoolwork done. You gotta put time in the gym and time for baseball if you really want it that bad. Unfortunately, you can't just play for school. You can't just play baseball. Unfortunately, you gotta go to school. And in order to move on from the junior college level, especially for me, you know, I had to get good grades to go on to the next school, because grades was always a problem for me, I'd say, out of high school. That's kind of why I had to go junior college out of high school. It definitely had to swallow some pride. Going to junior college, knowing I probably could have gone to a 4-year out of high school, but I wouldn't have changed it for the world. Obviously, if that was the case, I wouldn't even been in the draft talks this year, really, because I would have to have done 3 years at a 4-year. But going to junior college, you could get drafted for any of your 2 years. But yeah.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing, getting that opportunity, and you had, you know, as a sophomore pitcher, you were named an NJCAA Baseball Division III First Team All-American with the Thunderwolves. What did that mean to you, to have the opportunity that as you finished up your time in Niagara for Niagara County Community College to be named a First Team All-American?
No, yeah, for sure. I know last year I wish I could have. So coming into this year, it was something I definitely wanted. Last year, I don't think I qualified for the innings. You have to have a certain amount of innings to qualify for it. But yeah, definitely coming into this year was something on my mind, saying, you know, it would be definitely be nice. It wouldn't hurt at all to be named First Team All-American all together, but first team, awesome.
You know, and we're seeing all of these awesome things that happened. You know, your coach at Niagara, Klinger Smith, earned his 600th career victory at the NJCAA Division III World Series in his 17th season. And at the time of getting his 600th, he had 600 wins, 213 losses, and 1 tie. I know you talked about your coaching staffs and people that have meant a lot to you, but to be a part of his 600th victory and to be a part of it in the world, we're looking at the World Series for it. I mean, you finished up your career as a first team All-American. You finished up your career deep in the postseason. You also finished up your career with aiding your coach to getting to 600 victories. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things to be said about how you're leaving the Thunderwolves, and I'd love for you to speak on that.
Yeah, so Kling, he's all in. Once season starts, he's all in. You know, he's all about winning. He likes to win. If he expects everybody on the team, he expects to win. You know, we don't expect to lose. Obviously, both my years, we went to the World Series. It came up short both years, unfortunately. But you know, just to say it, we've gone. I've gone 2 years in a row. He's been there 3 years in a row. But yeah, he expects to win. He wants to win. He only brings in my opinion, people that want to win and will help him win. It's all about winning. Once the season starts, right when we go into Florida, he's locked in for sure, and it's all he can't sleep at night sometimes. I know he can't if we play bad or lose. I know he can't sleep. But yeah, he's a winner. It's good stuff for sure. It's a winning community out there. Every sport wins usually.
And for you, I mean, going to, like you said, in 2 seasons at Niagara County Community College, going to back-to-back World Series for NJCAA Division III, like you said, albeit coming up short, to be in the World Series for the nation and getting past regionals back-to-back. They did it as a 3-peat overall. For you to be a part of all that history when it comes to getting into the postseason, getting into regionals, and then going from there into the World Series for both of your seasons there, I know you'd love to hoist a trophy, but not a lot of teams get to be in the World Series. So I'd love for you to speak on why this Niagara County Community College overall team was so good and what it was like for you to be a part of it, because obviously being on the mound, you had a big part in making sure that this team advanced to the World Series, especially coming up, with what you did this year and the success that you had on the mound to move the team forward with 12 strikeouts that we had going back to the end of May.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna kind of go off what I just said. It's just winning. Everybody expects to win. it's going down there. Like I said, again, we came up short. We got the regional banners to hoist. They'll be up in the gym forever. I know that means a lot to Kling, just winning regionals. But yeah, I mean, they should be there again this year. They'll be hunting for that. They lost a lot of guys, especially Morris was supposed to come back. You know, he ended up getting drafted, so I'm pretty sure he'll be taking that. But yeah, just to play off what I said previously, everybody expects to win. Everybody expects to be in a World Series. Expect to win regionals. Usually comes down to us or Herkimer in the regionals. And unfortunately, my freshman year, they got that large bid and ended up winning the whole thing after we beat them in regionals. Yeah. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Ryan, what's your advice? You know, like you said, with all the success and the winning under Coach Kling at Niagara County Community College for the Thunderwolves, what's your advice for guys like Bryce Sicaro and other pitchers that are going to be on the mound that you've stood on for the last 2 years?
Yeah, for sure. Kling's always going to be there for you. He's going to be your friend, but he's also going to be your coach when he needs to be your coach, you know. He might yell at you from time to time, you know. If you're good and he yells at you, you should know that he believes in you. He likes you, you know. He just wants you to do well. But at the next level, I mean, you don't look at junior college as it's only junior college, it's not Division I. You know, it's the coaching's hard. You're expected to do things. You're expected to perform. You're expected to always stay ready. I'd say you just always be ready. You stay in the weight room, stay on top of your stuff, stay on top of schoolwork. Especially in the season, you got to stay in the weight room for sure. You got to stay healthy. Especially out there, all winter we're in the weight room. It's like a cultural thing out there, the weight room. You know, everybody shows up. We don't have any like 6 a.m. workouts. It's usually at night, and you're usually there till about 12 o'clock at night. We're there late. But yeah, you just got, like I said, you got to buy into their program. Obviously, they have a good track record of sending kids off and kids doing well there. Yeah.
Do you think that, I mean, can we end the stigma for JUCO, for junior college? I mean, when we see somebody like yourself stepping forward, like you said, another teammate of yours in, you know, Niagara County Community College is building that reputation of the talent that they have. What do you think about the stigma of junior college? And are you looking forward to showing just what it means to come from a junior college and be talented, and to end that feeling that you have to go to a D1 school?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was a big believer in that, you know, you could say stigma out of high school. You know, thinking, I gotta go Division I. There's no way I'm gonna get drafted if I don't go to Division I. That's, you know, and then after I started, you know, after my first year, I'm like, okay. Some scouts were talking to me last year, and this year, you know, to have 10, 11, 12 scouts at almost every game where it wasn't snowing or cold, it really shows, you know, if you're good enough, they'll find you and they'll stay if they think you're good enough, you know, they'll keep coming back. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of kids started going junior college just based off the fact that they don't have to stay at that 4-year for 3 years if they want to get there. If they believe they're good enough to start their professional career. So yeah, I think kids will start going to junior college instead of 4 years, just to, you know, get drafted quicker and get their professional career going.
Speaking here with Ryan Birchard here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in the Central and Upstate New York Spotlight, on the heels of him being drafted by the Milwaukee Brewers. When you said there were scouts that were coming out to see you, were they coming from major league teams all over the country? I mean, when did you get to speak with them and kind of look, and were you seeing the whole nation represented?
Yeah, for sure. I talked to more teams than, you know, not, you know, I talked to more than half, you know. Obviously, I got drafted by the Brewers, but I talked to a lot of teams, especially after my East season at N-Trip in the draft league. It really started to pick up there. I had people flying up to see me just to, you know, get a look at me, and I would only throw an inning, you know. But yeah, it definitely makes you feel good when you're getting those calls and texts and Zooms and whatever. It's a fun time. I just advise anybody going through it to enjoy it. Because, you know, for me, that's all over now. in the pro ball here soon. Can't get drafted again, so I'd say if anybody's going through that, just enjoy it. I'd say it's for sure different. Like it's not like a recruiting process like college wise, but it's pretty similar. But I think it's way more fun than the college decision.
Well,
because you don't get to pick; they get to pick you. It's yeah.
And I mean, you said it. You didn't really like the recruiting process in college, and you felt like maybe not everybody's being honest with you, and you had to kind of sift through it. But when you're speaking face to face or on Zoom or on the phone with these Major League Baseball teams, they're talking with you, and it's different because, like you said, you're choosing the college, the Major League Baseball team's choosing you, but you still have to sift through who's telling you the truth. Going through the recruitment process, as much as you didn't like it, did it teach you how to read between the lines? And do you feel like going through the recruiting process for college helped you to, in a way, know when a Major League Baseball team was being honest with you?
Yeah, so I would say so. It helped a little bit. The scouting for Major League Baseball, it's a lot of it's hard to explain. It's just two different levels of like recruiting, I'd say. College is a lot of like, why don't you come here? Like blah blah blah. They're trying to win you over. Major League Scouting is a lot of just asking you questions, how you would like react to things. A lot of just like personal, like, what do your parents do? You got brothers, your sisters, and blah blah blah. College coaches don't really care about that. they're just trying to sell you the program. It's like, you get this glove, this shirt, blah blah. You know what I mean? All this stuff. But yeah, it's two different worlds, to be honest with you.
So when you get those questions from Major League Baseball scouts, were there any questions that stuck out to you that you thought was, something that you thought was weird or made you kind of stop and say, why would they ask that? Was there anything that kind of
So the amount of questionnaires and everything I had to fill out was like unbelievable, right? It's crazy. And they're not short either. They're like, some of them are short, some of them were like 100 questions. I had to take like a couple of them are like 250 questions. It's a lot for sure. And then one question that really stuck out to me is a team. I can't remember what team asked, but someone said, "Do you put peanut butter in the fridge or the cupboard?" And I was just like, that. And I was like, what? I was like, what? I guess not even like I don't even know what kind of question that is, but that was one of their questions. Like I said, I can't remember what team it was, but yeah, I'd say that's definitely a weird question.
Yeah. Well, where do you put it?
I put it in the cupboard.
So do I.
Yeah, I don't know who's putting in for it. I mean, I would assume that's the correct answer, but
This is the thing. Okay, so they say now I put peanut butter in the cupboard my whole life because that's what my parents did. That's what I learned. I'm obviously still alive at 37 years old, so I think I'm okay. But I was talking to an old friend of mine. We're not friends anymore, and not because of this. But he was talking to me about it, and he's like, "Why didn't you put the peanut butter in the fridge?" I said, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, it's butter." So my mom taught me, like, you got to put butter in, or it'll get old and it won't be healthy because it's butter, it's dairy, so you got to put it in the fridge. And I was like, I don't think so. And I put it in the fridge one time just to like see, and it got this like oily stuff in the middle, and then you have to let it thaw out because then it gets cold. But my grandmother, who lived to be almost 101 years old, G Mama, God bless her in heaven, she used to have her butter in a butter dish. She never put it in the fridge. She put it inside of this like cow butter dish thing in the corner and left it there. So, I mean, whether or not butter is supposed to be in the fridge is inconsequential, because the reality of the fact to me is, if someone lives to be almost 101 and I'm still alive at 37, what'd you say?
They're doing something right?
Yeah. So I think peanut butter should be out of there. But I mean, I think they try to catch you, or they try to just see like reactions. But it's interesting because, and I'm happy you brought it up, Ryan, because there's some really weird questions that the NFL or Major League Baseball, like the NFL I think they said to Jay Bromley, how many different things can you do with a paperclip?
I don't even know. How do you answer that? A bunch?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so you get drafted. Bring me into where were you? What were you doing? Who were you with the moment you got drafted?
Yeah, so I didn't want anything like I didn't have like a super like huge watch party. Obviously, I had an idea that the second day of the draft probably was gonna be the day I got picked. I had my grandparents over, my mom and dad's parents, a couple friends. I would have had them all over, but a lot of them had work or they're out of town. So I had two of my friends, my brother's girlfriend was here. And yeah, I had it on in my living room, and then I got like a little game room me and my brother hang out in, and I had it on in there. And I kind of just wanted to be away from everybody, so I was in the game room. And yeah, it was pretty quiet up until the end of the fourth round. And I was getting a little discouraged, you could say. And then my agent, Mike Bonanno, he said, teams are starting to call. You're moving up on boards. In about 10, 15 minutes, it's going to start picking up if it's going to happen here in the fifth or sixth round. And he said, I just got a call through like a couple teams. And then he called me like a minute later saying, the Brewers, they're going to get you here they're going to try to get you here for their pick. And I was like, yeah, no, that'd be awesome. I'd love it. I'd love it to happen. He's like, no, their general manager just called me. It's happening. They just picked you. I'm like, awesome. So I knew about 7 picks before. So, I came in, told my family, and we're all standing there. Obviously, everybody else got their phone out, recording the TV. But yeah, and I guess that happened. It was awesome. I can't say. In the most humble way, I'm not surprised. I expected it to happen, all the hard work and dedication to the game. But yeah, that's how it went down.
And to me, I think it's so cool that you knew 7 picks before, because you essentially got to experience it twice. You got to tell everybody that was with you, and then you got to all watch it on the screen, and then they knew, like you said, to record so that they could all get it on their phones and whatnot. So, I mean, for you, that had to be pretty cool to hear it, to know it, and then to stand there. So when you're standing there with the whole family and pick 155 comes up and it's the Brewers, was it dead silent in the house? I mean, what was it like?
No, everybody started. There was a lot of tears, honestly, from everybody. I think obviously happy tears. Everybody was just happy because I think everybody knows the amount of work I've put in, the sacrifices, just everything that's gone into it. And to see that it finally paid off was definitely, it's a good feeling for sure. And then, after that happened, everybody started finding out. I had some family friends come over later that night. We just celebrated. And yeah, I'll be leaving Sunday morning, flying out of Syracuse at 8 a.m., heading out to Arizona.
Yeah, and I mean, it happens that quick. It's, just with a snap of a finger. So why, when you said, in the most humble way possible, I believed it was going to happen, I put the work in, what is it about you as a person and a baseball player, when you put the whole package together for Ryan Birchard, why did you believe that you had done enough to get drafted? What is it about you and your game that you felt like, hey, it's draft day, here's the draft, I got a couple days to get into this thing? What makes you believe that Major League Baseball saw something in you? What did they see, in your opinion?
I think they saw. So, in my opinion, everything I've learned, a lot of it, I've taught myself through TikTok and YouTube. I think they saw somebody young and little coaching that they could probably just mold to exactly what they want, and that's what I believe was a big selling point on myself. Also performing this year at school and in the draft league, especially the draft. I think the draft league helped me tremendously. But yeah, I'd say that's, and like I said, I was humble, and I think that's what I credit to, it happening. And yeah.
Bring me into the draft league, to the people that didn't know, just what you did there, how it came up, just paint a picture for the draft league for us and why you thought that was so helpful.
Yeah, for sure. So I was supposed to go to the Cape Cod League, Brewster, Whitecaps. They called me like 2 days before saying they had too many people show up and they got to release me. I'm like, well, that sucks. So I called my agent, my advisor at the time. He turns my agent when I get drafted. Mike Bonanno, like, hey, they just called and they released me because too many people showed up. He's like, okay, great guy, by the way, Mike Bonanno. He's like, okay, let me make a call. So he called the president of the draft league. He's like, hey, yeah, we're gonna send him to Trenton. If you want, just for now, because my agent's got a couple other kids on the Maryland team. I think they're called the Frederick Keys. And he's like, yeah, you just stop in Trenton because Frederick's on a road trip right now for like 7 days. They won't be home. So we want to get you your innings. So we'll just send you to Trenton right now. And if you like it, you can stay. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. And so I went down there, and the coaches, the guys, a great group of guys. It was awesome. So obviously I decided to stay there. And I was upset when I had to leave, but it was my time. I was only there for about 2.5, 3 weeks. We had a lot of kids drafted. We were really good. And, yeah.
So from the Trent, you go from the Thunder Wolves to the Thunder, so it feels pretty yeah. It's kind of constant, and the colors similar. So
yes.
What did you take away from the Trenton Thunder in the draft league? How did they make you an even better pitcher?
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't a lot of, I'd say, like not like mechanic. You could think like pitching, like mechanics, or like they're not teaching you much. They're more teaching you about like how professional baseball works. Yeah. Like unwritten rules. I guess you could say a clubhouse game, or how you're supposed to act around, fans, blah blah blah. But yeah, the pitching coach Sean Chacon played 8 big league seasons. He's an all-star drafted in the 3rd round. I was just picking his brain for the longest time, just seeing, just listening to him, because obviously he was doing something right to stay in the major leagues for that long. So yeah.
And when you look at guys from the state of New York and from Central and Upstate New York that are in the league right now and on the mound pitching, we look at Pat Corbin, who came from Cicero North Syracuse CNS and went on to my Arizona Diamondbacks in 2012, was with the Diamondbacks, hung on for 6 seasons there before jumping over to the Nationals for the last 5. Does seeing somebody like Pat Corbin from Central and Upstate New York, does that give you hope when you see somebody come from here in Central and Upstate New York and make their way and get themselves drafted and then not only be drafted, but to come up the ranks, go through the farm system, and now be in the league for many years? We're looking at over a decade that he's been.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Because I think a lot of people, if you know Corbin, you probably know the story about, like how he started, and he never played baseball before, blah, blah, blah. Then he ends up getting drafted, and now he's in the major leagues. But yeah, for sure. There's a bunch of guys from upstate New York that, have been drafted in the major leagues. Another one's Tim Castro from Auburn. But yeah, for sure. It just makes me, their names are always, paraded around town. I'm sure, they should just say, yeah, oh yeah, I know Timmy, or I know Corbin. But yeah, I'm just hoping I could be the next name that people know, especially out of Central New York.
So what is it about your game, Ryan? Before I let you go, what do you think are the best pieces of your game? When you get on the mound, what is it about you that makes you special, that you think is going to catch the eye in the farm system to raise you up from level to level?
I just think, in my eyes, I hate the other team. I hate everybody, like I'm a competitor. I just want to win. I want to compete, and I want to beat the other team. Yeah. And I think I'm a great team guy. I'm easy to get along with. I make friends pretty quick. But yeah, I just, I'm all friendly and fun and games off the field. But once it's my time to be on the field, it's strictly business. But yeah, that's what I think probably will help me move up quick.
Do you like when you look at the farm system, it's so different than any other sport. You could be the number 1 pick, or you could pick 155 like yourself. You could be any one of the picks over 600 players that are drafted, and you all have to go to the farm system. You all have to work through it, and there's single A, double A, triple A, and then hopes to get to the majors. So bring me into the farm system and what you like about it. And do you feel like there's an even playing field, that a pitcher from LSU or Florida, and then a pitcher such as yourself, depending on how you perform in your farm system, we can have guys drafted at different times, different rounds, go higher than somebody that was drafted higher than them based on work ethic and based on what a team needs. So do you like the farm system, and do you feel like it kind of erases the draft pick that you are and really just comes down to what you do in that moment?
Yeah, for sure. I know, obviously, like NBA, NFL, if you get picked pretty high, you're going straight to, you're gonna be on TV like the following season. For most draft picks, the earliest someone usually gets up to the big leagues after you get drafted is like probably maybe a year and a half, 2 years. There's only a few kids that been drafted, gone straight to the major leagues. But one of the guys that probably recently did it was Ben Joyce. I think he was in the minor leagues for like not even a full season. He was on the big league club pretty quick. But yeah, like you said, I think it does kind of erase, because everybody starts at the complex league, I think, or single A, and it's you could have been the number 1 pick, or you could have been the 500th pick, but you're still in the same place, and you got to perform to move up.
Yeah, so we have the opportunity to see you. How much do you know about the Brewers before we get into something called Rapid Fire, which will round out this broadcast where you and I get to put each other on the hot seat? It can be about baseball, or it could be about anything in the world. Before we get to that, Milwaukee Brewers, just what you could say about how much you know about the organization and about the pitching staff that they have right now. Just what makes you excited to head to Milwaukee?
Yeah, for sure. I know that they got a lot of homegrown talent. They develop pitchers very well. One of those names in the top of MLB is Corbin Burns, and obviously he's a homegrown talent there. And I think they really buy in to not just their pitchers, obviously all their players, but especially pitching. They're not a huge market team. I guess you could say they can't go out and buy talent, so they're gonna put all their money they got into developing talent. And that's what I think I need. I just can't wait to get out there and just get it started.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Excited to have you out there. I know you talked about your brother, and I know that you put out on social media that there's some excitement to be had, or you reposted about Owen, and just what you could say about what Owen's been doing out there. And I'm watching a video of him here in the studio while we've been talking. What can you say about Owen as he's a 2024 prospect?
Yeah. He's actually sitting right. I can see him right now. He's just staring at me. He's smiling. He's been looking at me the whole time. So he's been over here. But yeah, he should have some things coming up here hopefully soon. Okay. Hopefully we're making decisions somewhat soon where he's going to be going to school. Not next year, but the following year. But yeah, he's a great kid. We work together. If I need something, we're gonna go right after I get off. We're gonna go play catch. We're gonna go throw. But yeah, we kind of push each other. We work together. Even though we got different, like I guess you could say, throwing programs or workout regimens. We just push each other, and we both want the same thing. Obviously, I just got drafted here. That's kind of what I was, pushing for my whole career. Now the next thing is making it to the major leagues, and I'm sure he's gonna. His next step after he decides to go to school somewhere is get drafted and make it to the major leagues.
Do you think I'm going to be sitting here a short while from now talking to another Birchard that's going to the majors? Will I be talking with Owen?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, fair enough.
If he gets the opportunity, I'm going to say I would not be surprised. It's definitely there. Yeah, I think he just needs to be, critiqued a little bit, learn a couple things. Okay. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised.
That coming from Ryan Birchard here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, from the Auburn Maroons to the Niagara County Community College Thunderwolves to the Trenton Thunder, in getting himself ready for the draft and being drafted in the 5th round, 155 overall, to the Milwaukee Brewers. It's time to play rapid fire. We get to put each other on the hot seat. Neither one of us has prepared any question, so I have no idea what Ryan's going to say, and he has no idea what I'm going to say. Ryan, you get to ask me the first question. Could be music, movies, TV, baseball, anything. You get to ask. Go ahead.
All right, so we'll go right now. Oh, boy, I got to think. I'm probably going to go with music. I'm a big music guy.
Okay.
What's your favorite genre of music, I say? Yeah.
My favorite genre of music, it's a cross between – oh, man. It's probably –
It's a tough question, I think.
It's hip-hop, R&B, and country. They're all kind of together. It depends on my mood. It depends on where I'm at. But if I'm like getting ready to do a show, I kind of picture it like that music that comes up right before you get on stage. I'm going to need some type of, probably some type of hip hop, and then some R&B comes here and there, country, depending on how I feel. But there's a bunch of songs that kind of like amp me up and get me ready. And I would say that's probably living in like the hip hop and some of it pop universe, I'd probably say.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
All right. Well, you're a music person. So if you could go on tour with any band or singer, who would you go with and why?
Ooh, I'd have to say Riley Green. Country. I'm a big country guy. That's one. I just love his music. I have yet to see him. I saw Morgan Wallen when he came to Syracuse here last year. Awesome time. I love Morgan Wallen too, but I'd have to say I like Riley Green more. He doesn't come up around here, so hopefully, maybe when I'm in the minor league somewhere, he'll be on tour around wherever I am. But if I had to go on tour with him, why? He just seems like a good time. He just seems like a good time, yeah.
All right. What's your next question for me?
Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? I would have to say that's tough. I'm a movie guy, and it's something that I want to work on in my career because I want to screenwrite, and I've done some practice with that. I would have to say, oh man, favorite movie. There's so many different ones. I love Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. I can recite the whole thing. I love my Marvel movies, the original Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite. I was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as an extra.
Really?
Yeah. So I got to be in the chase scene.
Okay.
At the beginning. So I would say, I'd probably say Spider-Man because I never thought I'd see my favorite character on screen. I'd say Liar Liar for comedy. And I don't know. There's a bunch of movies that have inspired me to just want to write, want to do certain things. There's a lot of good movies. I'm a big Angels in the Outfield fan too.
Angels in the Outfield. I didn't think I've never heard of Angels in the Outfield, but okay. Gotcha.
You gotta watch Angels in the Outfield. Good movie. I like Back to the Future too. That's also a good one I like. Yeah. So, all right, Ryan. If you could go into any movie universe, if you could jump into a movie universe, real or fake, and it could become your reality and you live in it, what movie universe would you go to and what character would you be?
Okay, so this is I'm gonna have a terrible answer, I think, because my favorite movie is Goodfellas, but I don't think I want to live that life.
Okay.
Sure. But that's my favorite movie, but for sure don't want to live that life.
Okay.
If I had to say, I don't know. I like the Moneyball thing because it's just like being, but I don't like the whole, how they were bad, blah blah blah, But then they started to be good. So I'd probably say Moneyball, just to go with the baseball thing. But yeah.
All right, yeah. I like Moneyball. I can respect that. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and what would you be working within the organization? I'm guessing.
I feel like. Yeah, or I'd be a player just like on the team and just seeing how they went from like bad to good, just living through it. Kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your last one for me?
So yeah, it kind of piggybacks off the favorite movie type thing. Do you prefer to watch movies or like TV shows? Because I love to watch like movies. I'm not like a big like TV show guy.
Okay.
But
I would say I probably prefer movies over TV shows because the TV shows I watch are kind of like movies.
Yeah.
So, because I watch like a bunch of the Marvel series like Secret Invasion and whatnot. So I really like movies. I would go to a movie once a week. I like going to the theater, sitting in the theater, shutting my phone out, like shutting everything down for a couple hours and relaxing. So I'd probably say movie over TV. Because I don't really watch as much TV anymore. I typically will go back and like watch a show that's, I'll wait until like a bunch of episodes come out and then I'll go and watch that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
All right. My last question for you, Ryan. if your brother, since he's there, if your brother had to describe you in 3 words, what 3 words do you think that your brother would use to describe you? So if I was here right now, sitting in, having a conversation with Owen, what would you say?
You'd probably say I'm annoying.
Okay.
Honestly, you'd probably call me annoying. I'm going to use that as one of them. Annoying.
Okay.
Just 'cause I think we annoy each other sometimes. I could say the same thing about him for sure. So, but I think he would say hardworking and dedicated was the other two, because I think he does see it, you know. Because I mean, we do it together. You know, we do it all together. When I'm home, it's it's every day. We're doing something together. We're just working at our craft, which we happen to both be right-handed pitchers. So yeah.
All right. I like it. Well, with that being said, for Ryan Birchard, from the Auburn Maroons to the Niagara County Community College to now Major League Baseball, being drafted in the 5th round, 155 overall to the Milwaukee Brewers, and now has an opportunity to work his way through the system. Ryan, you get the last word. What do you want to say to people out there of any age that are fighting for their dreams and are maybe afraid to chase their dream or wondering if they should chase their dream? What would you say?
Yeah, for sure. I think you got to make some sacrifices there. You're going to have to make sacrifices of, not going to be able to hang out with your friends here, go there, because you got to stay home and stretch. You got to get mobile. You got to be able to move well on the baseball field. And some people who don't really understand it, they're going to be like, oh, that stretch. Like, what? You're like, like stretch. Like, and then, everything that just happened for me, and it's like, that's why you do it. You do it too. You're not doing it for something maybe then in time, but for something, because you plan on being somewhere in the future, and it all pays off. And then now people understand why you couldn't go hang out that day, you couldn't go do this that day. I guess you just got to buy it. You got to work hard, and hard work will pay off. For sure.
I firmly agree that. I live that every day. Hard work really does pay off. I say that all the time. So Ryan, I know it's the first time you've been on the show, but I look forward to continuing to keep in touch with you through your journey. And I would love to have you back on and see what you're doing in the Brewers farm system and as you grow and blossom here. But congratulations. Thanks for representing Central and Upstate New York so well. And I definitely look forward to having you back on soon.
Yeah, for sure. We'll stay in touch.
GG cards and breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
but they also have some amazing things. And apparently, we were not on audio here for a second, so I want to go back here and celebrate GG Cards and Breaks.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
Want to make sure I make a note here on the feed here because I feel like those of you on YouTube might have missed it here. So definitely appreciate you for being here and for all the connection that we get to have with GG Cards and Breaks. Make sure you go out and find them today on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 on Sundays. They are the place to continue your hobby as well as start your hobby. Greg said one of the positives of Northeast pitchers, they tend to not have the mileage on their arms compared to Southern U.S. pitchers. Yeah, that's a good thing. 2 players from the same JUCO team drafted to the majors. Pretty impressive. Yeah, because we saw that with Ryan Birchard's teammate. And then not quite a level playing field between all draft picks, but certainly get your point. Yeah, I mean, well, and this is the thing. What I'm saying is when I made that point about, you could be the number 5 draft pick or number 155, what I'm saying is they all have to go through the farm system. I'm not saying that some of them don't have preferential, or expectation or treatment of like, okay, you're the 5th overall pick. We really need your help right now. You might play this year compared to another guy that's going to spend a year and a half in the minors. All I'm saying is, everybody's got to go through the system of growing through the farm system. And I think that that's incredibly important to see that once you get in, you can prove yourself, and the 120th pick can get out there quicker than the 7th pick in some situations. And, it gives an opportunity to so many different players. There's over 600 players drafted. And, here's to hoping that the ones that got drafted and the ones that didn't, and the ones coming from overseas all have an equal opportunity and a chance to make some history and have some fun doing what they love and loving what they do. So GG Cards and Breaks, speaking of doing what you love and loving what you do, head off there today to 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, right off of Teal Avenue, open 7 days a week. Okay, so let's try this again for those of you on YouTube. And if you're hearing this again on Podbean or Facebook, my apology. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, live Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Under promise, over deliver. Obviously, it's almost noon here this morning. YouTube.com, Facebook.com, both / Wake Up Call DT. And on Wake Up Call DT. .podbean.com. Once the show goes live, it jumps into the archive on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, YouTube, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Podvine, Player FM, Podchaser, Boomplay. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big thanks to our incredible partners, Carvel DeWitt, where you can get the DT Dolphin Signature Sunday. You want to celebrate Lemoyne playing Georgetown in basketball, Lemoyne playing Penn State in soccer. Great news coming out of Lemoyne on the Heights. You're happy to be an alum. You're happy to go to the school. You're getting ready to become a freshman on campus very soon. Whatever your story may be, you're a big-time Dolphin fan. It's fins up all day, every day. Well, all of my Dolphins and all my people in the community, the lovers of mint chocolate chip, everybody here in Central and Upstate New York, support your Dolphins, support Carvel with an exclusive Sunday that I made for you only on 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York, by the wonderful graciousness of Jay Cartini and his team that let me do it. The DT Dolphin, available 7 days a week, mint chocolate chip, hot fudge, whipped cream, cherry, green and gold sprinkles, chocolate Dolphin jumping out of your whipped cream. It's fantastical. The Wildcat Sports Club, 317 at Montgomery Street. The name of the location is the name of the restaurant. Their menu changes throughout the year. They keep some incredible favorites, and they try some new things that end up becoming mainstays on the menu. You never know what 317 is going to cook up next, and that's why you don't only have to go now. You got to keep going all throughout the year. Their food is incredible, and I know that because we do the Downtown with Dan taste testing series with the owner where we talk sports and entertainment while I try the food and let you know what I think about it. You do not want to miss that awesome menu at 317 at Montgomery Street, ever-changing and evolving and always good. Big-time shout-out to K9 Kamp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, as well as Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Great Lakes Honda City, Chick-fil-A Watertown, K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, Mother's Cupboard, where we have our signature sandwich. My sandwich is exclusively at Mother's Cupboard. You cannot miss it. Right when you walk in, it's between the two special boards. So you have like the specials on both of those whiteboards right in the center of it, right over the grill. They have right over, they're cooking right there in the kitchen. Right above that, you have the Cuse McMother picture. It tastes even better than it looks, which is hard to believe because it looks really awesome. The Cuse McMother bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Cut it up and eat it with syrup. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. exclusively at Mother's Cupboard on 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, GG Cards and Breaks, Avicoli's, big time shout out, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, to all the wonderful people we get to work with. And of course, we're the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of yours. Moyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month. You know, Dolphin Time and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Dolphins airs every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. First and third Wednesday with AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, we have the Dolphin Dive, diving into stories of student athletes, coaches, alumni, administration, and future Dolphins. Check out all of our content, including our bonus content like today, where we aired another Dolphin Dive, and we gave you one on Tuesday. So this week, you had a trio of Dolphin Dives: under promise, over deliver. Lemoyne's never been covered like this. All of their sports, and you can catch them all on the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. For more information, go to lemoynedolphins.com, and as always, Fins way up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Catch the Bobcats every single month on Wake Up Call. We have 2 awesome opportunities at videos coming up soon. We've never done anything like this in my over 19 years of being a broadcaster. We are going to bring the head coaches to a table, and we're going to play board games, which is really cool. It came out of an idea when I had the Bobcat Buzz special with esports head coach Brian Yurton, who just took over the job. Him and I were discussing what he had in his office, and right behind him he had board games, and he said, I call those humblers. And I was like, well, that's interesting. He's like, yeah, because I have my team play them to humble them. They're so used to playing online and playing on, Xbox and PlayStation and all this stuff, that these board games, strategy games that have been around forever, this gives them a humbling moment. So we were talking about it, and it was like, why don't we play? Why don't we have a humbler challenge? So the men's soccer, women's soccer head coaches, the men's basketball head coach, the baseball head coach, and the esports head coach join me for Jenga and Gestures, 2 separate Bobcat Buzzes coming up this month on Wake Up Call. Make sure you stay close to our social media to find out when it's going to happen and when you can see it and who won, because you definitely want to hang around till the end. So a lot of good stuff coming up with the Bobcats. You can check out all of our content with the teams on the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And for more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Go Bobcat Nation. The Alfred University Saxons are the newest exclusive multimedia marketing partner of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can check out your Saxons every single month on Mondays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The Presidential Perspective will be having its first episode this coming Monday, July 17th, and then the Saxon Spotlight every other week. So we have Presidential Perspective one Monday, then the Saxon Spotlight with student athletes, coaches, and administration, then back to the Presidential Perspective with President Mark Zupan, and then another story from the Saxon Spotlight. A lot of great stuff coming up. Think about it like with AD and DT and the Dolphin Dive. Same time every week, and giving you 2 episodes of each broadcast every month. So a lot of great stuff coming up with Alfred University. We already have a great initial welcoming video that I got to do on campus. Don't miss that. That was extremely fun for me, and they did it up big, and I cannot thank them enough for rolling out the purple and gold carpet, and then having Mark Zupan for the initial video, signing the contract together, as well as having the leader of the athletic department, Deb Stewart, who is the Associate VP for Student Experience, Athletics, and Recreation at Alfred University. So many great things are coming up every Monday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Set it, keep it, have it forever. And you can get all of the content by going to the Alfred U tab on wakeupcalldt.com in our growing library, subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And for more information, go to gosaxons.com and go there and check it out. And you can see us on their website as their exclusive multimedia marketing partner. Go Saxons. With that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day. Please be safe. As always, find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. God bless. No stress. Do your best. Big time thank you to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment. Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Prayers always for Jimmer to get well and stay well. God bless you, brother. We love you. Top Dog of the Week, honoring Lemoyne for awesome scheduling in this Division I, Chapter 1, which I'm really excited about. Thanks to Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding for taking care of our dogs, big and small. And, of course, a big-time shout-out to Nate Champion, the Lemoyne men's basketball head coach for the Dolphins, as well as a big-time shout-out to Ryan Birchard, the right-handed pitcher coming out of Auburn to Niagara County Community College, to the Trenton Thunder, and now drafted and heading this weekend to the Milwaukee Brewers. Have a great day, folks. God bless. No stress. Do your best. Talk soon.